47, subsection 1, nominated Senator Dr. Alice Milgol will be making a statement regarding the appointment of Senator Dr. Gertrude Musuruve Nima to the position of co-chairperson of International Parliamentary Network Education. Senator for Trans Nzoia County, Senator Michael Lumbeto, will be making a statement concerning the boosting of domestic tourism. On your screens is the Speaker of the Senate, Ken Lusaka. I'll now hand you over for the live broadcast. Good afternoon.
Willis, and mine is off. Okay. We start, but is this one on? Order. Is it working? Order. Oh, yeah. Okay, order, members. Honorable Senators, I take this opportunity to welcome you back to part 4 of the 4th session. This part will run from 8th September 2020 to 22nd October 2020 pursuant to the Senate calendar. It is my hope that you have all kept well and safe during the 3-week recess, reconnected with your constituents, families, and friends, and that you are ready for the business of the Senate. Honorable Senators, I urge that we redouble our effort to enable us to consider and conclude business that is before us, including bills, motions, petitions, and statements, critical among them being the determination of the third basis for revenue allocation among the county governments. As you will recall, during the special sitting on Monday, 17th August 2020, the House Constitutional Committee to try to develop consensus on the issue of the formula. The informal committee has been updating the Senate leadership on a regular basis, including the Senate Business Committee. The committee was informed that consultations were ongoing and that the prospects of achieving a win-win position are very promising. Consequently, following the Senate Business Committee meeting this morning, the committee agreed as follows. One, that a consultative meeting to be held between the informal committee and the Senate leadership on Thursday, 10th September 2020. Two, that a Kamkunji be held on Monday, 14th September to appraise the entire membership on progress made and the outcome of the consultative engagement. And three, that the matter of the report of the Committee on Finance and Budget on the third basis for revenue allocation among the county governments be listed on the order paper on Tuesday, 15 September 2020. Honorable Senators, I look forward to your cooperation and commitment as we undertake this very solemn duty. I thank you. Next order. Petitions. Senator Omogeni, Chair, JLAC. Is Senator Omogeni around? Use the dispatch, Mike.
Mr. Speaker, we require more time to make that report in the next session, next sitting.
Okay, next Tuesday. Chair, Agriculture. Senator Ndwiga. Senator Dr. Michael Mbito. Order. Seemingly the senators are not there, so I will defer all those petitions and make this one. Order, Senator Oletu. Honorable Senators, I hereby report to the Senate that a petition has been submitted through the clerk by Mr. Lawrence Nicholas Mutembei, a citizen of the Republic of Kenya and resident of Tharaka Nithi County. As you are aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including enacting, amending, or repealing any legislation. Honorable Senators, the salient issues raised in the petition are: one, that the petitioner was recruited by the Tharaka Nithi County government as the Director for Procurement in the Department of Finance and Economic Planning, a profession that he has been trained in. Two, that on 13th June 2018, he was arrested and arraigned in Chuka Court on 18th June 2018, where he was charged with an alleged corruption case, number 1, 2018, Republic of Kenya versus Lawrence Nicholas Mutembei, on 3 counts of receiving a bribe. Three, that on 5th August 2019, the proceedings of the case were terminated upon the petitioner applying for withdrawal of the case under Section 87A of the Criminal Procedure Code, and further on 14th November 2019, he applied for a revision and the ruling was made in his favor, where the charges were withdrawn and the case terminated. That the petitioner notified the county secretary of this court determination and that he would resume duty from 1st September 2019 and applied for annual leave. But before he could resume his duties on 27th February 2020, he received a letter dated 24th February 2020 notifying him that he had been redeployed to the Department of Education, Youth, Vocational Training, Culture, Sports and Tourism as the director with immediate effect. That upon receipt of the said letter, the petitioner wrote to the county secretary making reference to the requisite legal provisions and stating that he was redeployed in a directorate, that he had no professional training, neither qualifications to run, but no response has been given on his pleas. And 6, that the petitioner has made efforts to have the matter addressed by the relevant authorities, all of which have failed to give a satisfactory response. 4, the petitioner therefore prays that the Senate, 1, intervenes to have a reversal of the redeployment reinstatement to position that the petitioner has been trained in, being procurement. 2, intervene for a formal response on the issues from the Tharaka Nithi County government. And 3, intervenes to prevent victimization of the petitioner by the Tharaka Nithi government. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 231, I shall now allow comments, observations, or clarifications in relation to the petition for not more than 30 minutes. Senator Bogo Ochila yako.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, employment matters are matters that are very delicate. And Mr. Speaker, county governments, all employers, try and should try to get the best out of employees. In order to get the best out of employees, Mr. Speaker, it is expected that you employ somebody, you also equip them with tools for which they can, or with which they can exploit to discharge their obligations. You are also supposed to motivate them so that they deliver. In short, Mr. Speaker, human resource is critical to service delivery, to efficiency, and of course, to management. Now, Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that the officer in question has not been treated well. He was charged in court, a charge that was eventually dropped, and he's now being taken to a department for which he is not equipped to act or to serve the people of Tharaka Nithi. In support of this petition, I want to request both the area senator and the county government of Tharaka Nithi to make the best use of this officer by deploying this officer to the area for which he is qualified. This treatment is rampant among most of our county governments for mistreating their staff, for failing to encourage them, for not remitting statutory deductions. Mr. Speaker, most county governments will fail because they do not treat their workers well. If you read in the papers or if you listen to news, doctors have given a notice that they will strike, and I think this is indicative of the fact that we are mistreating our staff. So in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that the committee to which it will be referred to should look at it holistically, should look at it with a view of ensuring.
What's your point of order, Senator?
Speaker.
Bogisho.
Speaker, I don't know whether you notice people wearing caps in the House, and whether that is in order, Mr. Speaker.
They are traditional.
I'll make a ruling on that.
Mr. Speaker,
conclude, yes.
In conclusion, I want to request the committee to which this matter will be referred to look at it holistically, to ensure that employees of county government, public employees, are treated well, public employees are equipped or supported and given the right environment to serve the people of Kenya who reside in those counties. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support and encourage the petitioner to carry on.
Okay, order members, I said I'm going to make a ruling. Is inappropriate to wear capes in the House. So I direct that you remove the capes with immediate effect. It's gross misconduct. Order. Yes, Senator Murkomen. Remove your cape first, Senator Murkomen. Okay.
The Speaker, I rise on a point of order to, Mr. Speaker, first of all, the Senator Pogisho, when he stood, did not, Mr. Speaker, mention the point of order that he stood on. He didn't direct you to any order in the standing order. And he didn't say, Mr. Speaker, whether he was directing that question to Senator Mahmood, who has been wearing, Mr. Speaker, a cap for entire term, Mr. Speaker, for the last 3 years. And of course, I was not with him in the law house when he was wearing the same cap, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not something to rush. Mr. Speaker, the member who is raising a point of order should rise on a specific order, standing order. Number two, Mr. Speaker, your ruling, Mr. Speaker, must have determination as to the type of the cap he's talking about. And Mr. Speaker, you must listen to our side. Because, Mr. Speaker, people convert to different religions, even midstream, Mr. Speaker. And so if it's a religious cap, you must first listen to the part of those, Mr. Speaker, who are wearing. Mr. Speaker, I beg to...
Order, senators. Senator Wetangula, you want to? Just hold on.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the distinguished Senator Felgeo Marakwet has purported to challenge the distinguished Senator for West Pokot and Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, according to the Speaker's rules, Part 1, 5, Senators are required not to enter the chamber, lounge, or dining room without being properly dressed. Very clear. This means that a senator shall be dressed in a coat, collar, tie, long trousers, socks, shoes, or service uniform, religious attire, or such other decent dress as may from time to time be approved by the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what I'm seeing some senators wearing certainly does not fall within this description. At all. And I want to encourage senators, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure as a Speaker you will probably make the same direction, that this is a house of decorum. This is not a center of activism. This is a house of decorum. This is a legislation chamber. This is a house of revision. This is a house of reference. This is a house of wise men and women. And this is a house where the whole country looks at us as trendsetters in decorum and conduct. And Mr. Speaker, each one of us has the capacity and the ability to come here and display feelings that we hold so dear or so recklessly. But it is not allowed and is not available to anybody to come and adulterate, so to speak, and violate the decorum of this house. If we want to be activists, Mr. Speaker, the streets of Nairobi are open. We can go and walk up and down. There is Kenyatta Avenue here, which is called Hakizetu Street. We can go and walk and shout Hakizetu from morning to evening, but let's maintain the dignity. And the caps I'm seeing from my colleagues, and I have no problem with what you hold. I have every problem with conducting yourself in a manner that demeans the stature and status of our house. And all of us, when I see my brother from Mandera, my former ambassador, and ambassadors are well known for strict adherence to etiquette and good behavior. When I see them, Mr. Speaker, degenerating to a manner that is totally unbecoming and unhelpful, I feel very sorry for this House. Mr. Speaker, I have cited the rules, and they are very clear, and therefore what Senator Murkomen was challenging falls flat on its face.
Order, members. Order. Honorable senators. Order, Senator Orengo. Honorable senators, you are aware that the whole world has been watching Senate for the last about 2 months. We have very serious business ahead of us. it is not in order for us to waste time on matters that are very clearly stated in our standing orders, in our rules, and the Speaker's rules. So what I'm seeing are not religious capes. I direct that you remove them so that we make progress on other matters in the House. It's so directed. Senator Musuruve.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank you for giving me an opportunity to support this petitioner. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, indeed it is good for Kenyans to bring the petitions they have to the Senate, because this is where they can really be listened to. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that this petitioner, Mr. Mutembei, is justified in bringing the petition to this House. Yes, indeed, he was hired as a procurement officer. And he was hired as a procurement officer based on the qualifications that he had. And it is really unfortunate that he was deployed to an area that he's not competent with. It is unfortunate that the county government of Tharaka Nithi could do this. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that even if there's an accusation that he accepted a bribe, he accepted a bribe from who? So the two, whoever gave the bribe and whoever took the bribe, should actually be brought to book. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that it is unfortunate that this action by the county is demeaning the profession of education. If Mutembei could be taken to education and he does not have the papers, Honorable Speaker, there's need to interrogate this. Because as Kenyans, we cannot waste our education. If Mutembei was educated to be a procurement officer, why should he be taken to education where he does not have the capacity, Honorable Speaker? And a lot of money has been spent on him. So I want to say that there's need for justice. There's need to ensure that we run with speed and ensure that this investigation is done and justice is done also for Mutembei, and it should not be delayed, Honorable Speaker, because it is unfortunate that people can be taken to areas where they're not competent, and where they're competent, they're now redundant. Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity, and I hope that the committee that is concerned will actually do justice to this petitioner. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Senator Ali Abdullahi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to join the members in condemning the county government for misuse of professions. Mr. Speaker, this is known in all counties, it happens. Instead of deploying the right people to the right professions, they just send them anywhere and put them in any profession they want. A doctor is taken to administration when somebody who of health or health profession is made in charge, the CEC and the PS, while the financial guys are taken to sports and culture, as we are here in this. Mr. Speaker, I think this House should come up with something in which way, one way or another, to make sure that professions are respected and we follow what we know so that we are able to help our counties perform. But if we leave them do what they are doing now, then that's going to cause a lot of headache and it's going to cause a lot of problems, Mr. Speaker. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Onesimus Murkomen.
Mr. Speaker, this is, first of all, I'd like to appreciate the petitioner for believing and trusting in the Senate to deal with matters, employment of staff of county government. Mr. Speaker, it is clear from the petition that the petitioner is complaining about his deployment from one department to another. What must be recognized and appreciated of the county is that after the decision of the court, the petitioner was allowed to go back to work. Mr. Speaker, it is the duty of the county public service, which must operate, Mr. Speaker, independently to assess the competences of the staff at the county level, and the staff should be willing and ready to serve. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of people in the county and national government who would like to work in certain areas that are considered lucrative. Some of them are in the procurement department. Mr. Speaker, as a Senate, even as we consider this matter, we must not get ourselves to the situation of micromanaging county governments, particularly when they have to move staff from one department to another because they want to streamline the performance of that department, or, Mr. Speaker, to protect staff who could have been suspected, Mr. Speaker, of misappropriation of funds, that, Mr. Speaker, to protect them from going back to certain departments that have become familiar with. I think Mr. Mutembe should first be grateful that he still has a job to serve the people of Tharaka Nithi County. And Mr. Speaker must be ready to serve even in other departments in the county. And the Senate should, when we are dealing with this matter, should allow the county public service to freely, Mr. Speaker, find ways and mechanisms of deploying staff to different departments. And I'm saying this with a lot of respect because when change of guard will happen in 2022 again, some new governors will come to certain departments of the county. Staff were put in the wrong place, or perhaps were put as gatekeepers of the outgoing governor in a particular position and so forth. They must have that flexibility to, Mr. Speaker, transfer staff across departments of the county. And particularly when they are working around institutions or departments that affect the functioning of the county government, and particularly that will eventually affect the governor. Mr. Speaker, many governors here are now in court because some procurement officers, Mr. Speaker, participated on matters corruption. Of course, we are told some of them benefited directly. But, Mr. Speaker, we cannot now then force governors and tell them, you must stick with that guy in that procurement department when they Mr. Speaker, have requested the county public service who will independently assess certain requests that come from the office of the governor on where to deploy staff for effective management of the county government. So while I appreciate the faith of Mr. Mutembe, having faith with the Senate, I also want to say that we must not stifle the right of county governments to run their affairs independently without micromanaging by the Senate. And as I say so, Mr. Speaker, let me just say in one sentence. The question of corruption is serious and procurement matters. Mr. Speaker, I wish we can be able as a Senate to ensure that I saw governors making some noise about our county public accounts committee. I expect the chair, Professor Ongeri, who is an experienced public servant, Mr. Speaker, to give reasoned response to the weighty allegations, Mr. Speaker, that came from the Council of Governors, that, Mr. Speaker, our committee is compromised in the manner in which they deal with governors. Mr. Speaker, we need as a Senate to acquit ourselves of these accusations and to deal with those governors, Mr. Speaker, regardless of, Mr. Speaker, whether we know them, they come from our political party. The nation is watching us to, Mr. Speaker, deal with those governors fairly and, Mr. Speaker, without favor. Because it is becoming now apparently clear that certain governors, Mr. Speaker, are not facing the consequence of the law because they are politically correct. And this Senate, Mr. Speaker, must not sanctify and clean. Mr. Speaker, must not be part of the dry cleaning process that some governors are taken through that has become very difficult to hold them accountable. And I want to request our party leaders out there, don't be party to these processes where governors come through cleanliness, Mr. Speaker, and to avoid, Mr. Speaker, facing the music and facing the law. Just because they sing and shout and finance your political parties, let them be held accountable by the people of Kenya and for the benefit of the people of Kenya. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kangata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to associate myself with the sentiments of Senator Murkomen. I am not so sure whether this petition meets the threshold required for such kind of a petition being admitted in this honorable house. And the reasons are, number one, personally on the face of it, it appears this is a purely employment matter. The issues raised therein ought to have been canvassed in an employment court. But again also, I don't see any disclosure of any actionable issue in the said petition, with all due respect, Mr. Speaker. I reiterate that I get the impression that the petitioner is complaining being deployed in another department. I guess that is an administrative issue. There is no prejudice, he has not been fired at all. And therefore, I don't get the impression, what's the complaint for me? And again, when you see a person who really wants to stick into procurement department, you get the impression this person is not acting bona fide, most likely is acting malafide. Thank you.
Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr.
Speaker, at the time when we got a petition, somebody suggesting we should remove the cockerel and part of the coat of arms, I raised this concern. And I said, either we agree to set up a committee to check the quality of petitions in terms of whether or not they meet the threshold, irrespective of the question that every person has a right to file petitions, Mr. Speaker. Because this sort of petition, Mr. Speaker, other than the question of jurisdiction, the petition itself and the suggestions that they are making is what Senator Irungu Kangata is saying, that a person will be transferred from one office to the other, they will come here. And Mr. Speaker, even when we admit such petitions, governors then get the opportunity to say we are trying to micromanage them. And it gets worse when you have questions like the ones raised about the Public Accounts Committee. And Mr. Speaker, I personally want to hear, and I've told the chair who is sitting next to me, that the first time a committee of the Senate has been accused of extortion has happened in 2020. Extortion is a criminal offense. Mr. Speaker, other than making a statement on the floor, this committee has a right to seek redress, because it's defamation of our chair, of our vice chair, somebody who I met when I was 18, seated in a committee of Public Investments Committee, Senator Ochilo Ayako. Mr. Speaker, this matter should not be taken lightly. But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, I think that we must find a method in the standing orders where we scrutinize some of the petitions that come here. Others, Mr. Speaker, will be accused of doing the most pettiest of things. Thank you, Speaker.
Senator Langat?
Yeah. You should not, yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for also giving me this particular opportunity to make a comment on this particular petition. In as much as I do appreciate that this is a house that should listen to all Kenyans, I want to believe, Mr. Speaker, that this particular petitioner had not exhausted other avenues within the county level and also above. This is a matter that I would have expected this particular petitioner to petition the county assembly from that particular county, or even if it was, this particular petitioner should have petitioned the National Public Service Board. Mr. Speaker, we cannot imagine. Suppose we make a recommendation that this particular petitioner be allowed to be transferred where he or she wants. This particular, we shall attract so many of such kind that the Senate will not move or do anything else apart from micromanaging the county governments through starving issues like this and this. So I want to say this is a Senate that we should actually be dealing with matters, revenue allocation, which are very important, Mr. Speaker, rather than reducing ourselves to the level of becoming a kamugunji for those particular county issues that do not attract the attention of this country at large. So I want to say that this particular petitioner be advised to use other available avenues to sort her case out. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Senator Wetangula?
Mr. Speaker, when I heard you reading this petition, I turned to the senator next to me and I said, this is the most frivolous petition that has ever come to this house. Because, Mr. Speaker, a citizen tells us he was working in a department, he was accused of taking a bribe, he was taken to court, The case was withdrawn. He was not even acquitted. The case was withdrawn. Then he is gratuitously taken back to his job and transferred to another department. And then he runs to the Senate and says that is wrong. Mr. Speaker, it is something that this House should not entertain. And those who process petitions before they reach your desk, Mr. Speaker, should, I think, up their game. Because this is a matter, Mr. Speaker, at the very most, is a case of internal discipline at Tharaka-Nithi or a matter for labor courts, but not for this House. We have very serious issues out there, Mr. Speaker, that Wananchi have brought to this House. Fishermen being abducted on Lake Victoria and being killed, challenges with security on our Somali border, challenges of workers, which are still pending, Mr. Speaker. I want to urge, Mr. Speaker, that you, in fact, don't commit this petition to any committee because it doesn't meet the threshold of a petition, so that this House can only deal with more serious matters. I know, Mr. Speaker, that when people apply for jobs in public service, they commit themselves to work in any department.
Yes, Senator Khaniri, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, as much as I agree with my elder brother, the Senator for Bungoma, that this is a frivolous petition, but Mr. Speaker, we must adhere to the rules that guide the proceedings of this House. Mr. Speaker, I want to follow the argument by my friend Senator Mutula Kilonzo that going forward, it is absolutely important that we set a threshold, petitions that will come to this House. But for this particular petition, Mr. Speaker, since it's already here with us, we have rules that guide our deliberations, our proceedings, and I'm talking in particular in reference to Standing Order number 232, paragraph 1, that any petition that is presented to this House must be committed to a committee. As much as it's frivolous, Mr. Speaker, we must deal with it the way we deal with any petition that comes to the floor of this House. I therefore want to differ with my elder brother that this one should not be committed to a committee. Mr. Speaker, we have to live by our rules, but going forward, because if we continue admitting this kind of petitions, we'll an avalanche here. Mr. Speaker, we will not do the important things that we're supposed to do. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you. I want to differ with the Senator for Bungoma on the issue of committing the petition to a committee. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker, be that as it may, if this petition is committed to any committee, that committee should take the shortest time possible to dispose it of. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei. Senator Cherargei, okay. What's your point of order, Senator Sakaja?
Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Speaker, is my mic on? Mr.
Senator Cherargei, take your seat.
Okay.
It's a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know if my mic is, okay, it is on. Mr. Speaker, the House has discussed this petition for too long. And since it is likely to be committed to the Committee on Labor, which I chair, would I be in order, Mr. Speaker, to save the time of the House by just committing to deal with this in the shortest time possible tomorrow, so that we can go to, we have other items on the order paper, Mr. Speaker. We'll deal with it very fast, Mr. Speaker, kindly.
Okay, Senator Cherargei, then we move on. Yes, Senator Orengo. There's another point of order. There's another point of order, Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, the problem is that once it is committed to the committee, then the committee is bound by the Constitution. This petition is presented by a Kenyan. And you cannot dismiss the petition. Once you have accepted the petition, then you cannot summarily dismiss it without giving that person the power to be heard on the petition. So, Mr. Speaker, you cannot have your cake and eat it. Once you direct this petition to the committee, then they must hear the petitioner in the shortest time possible. But I don't think you can dismiss it summarily without, okay.
What's your point of information?
Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kangata, please wear your mask.
And it's too close.
And observe social distance. That
Mr.
is
Speaker,
a bit too close.
That is a member.
Yes, Senator Sakaja.
That is a member of my delegation. I'm worried for Nairobi. Senator Kangata is too close. I just like to inform the esteemed leader of minority that we're not dismissing it. We're just being efficient. As a committee on labor, if it comes to us, we will give fair hearing online, listen to the issue, and deal with it very fast. In fact, that should be encouraged. It is efficiency, because the Constitution says within 60 days. It can be within an hour, 2 hours a day, but we shall invite the petitioner and shall advise accordingly. But finally, Mr. Speaker, just to request the leader of minority and majority to amend our standing orders, because if you look at Standing Order 226, if I'm not wrong, it gives the steps through which a petition is dealt with. And it says where a petition deals with a matter that is not in the mandate of the Senate, it is referred to the National Assembly. I think you need to add one more provision, Mr. Speaker, that where it is not a matter of the Senate, we can also refer it to the County Assembly, because it will probably be dealt with better in the County Assembly of Tharaka Nithi.
There's a point of order from Senator Wambua.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, my point of order is that this petition has not yet been committed to any committee. The Senator of Nairobi is already telling us how he will deal with the petition when it appears before him. Mr. Speaker, he is doing two things. One is soliciting for business for his committee and also anticipating debate. Mr. Speaker, can you guide on that matter? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Lokoria, what's your point of order?
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Leader, you had not finished your point of order. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I do value that information, but I just want to agree with him that the shortest time possible with the right of hearing being granted to the petitioner, that is efficiency. The only thing I was fearing that the shortest time possible may mean that is not heard. So on that basis, I agree with you entirely. And the right to be heard does not mean that it has to appear. There's a lot of material now on how people can get heard. So he can appear by written memorandum and all that. Thank you.
Senator Petronila Were and Senator Wako from the other chamber start coming.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to join my colleagues, but I rise on a point of order to also say that we cannot determine whether a petition is frivolous here in the House. We must continue to allow Kenyans to have faith in Parliament, specifically in the Senate. So it's up to, before it reaches the House, it's up to the processes before it reaches the House. But once it's here, we cannot determine on the floor that it is frivolous. So I accept that we commit it to a committee and let them handle it accordingly. Thank you.
Senator Cherargei, you are on the floor. And Wako will be the last one, so that because our time is up.
Thank you, Speaker, for this opportunity. Mine is to agree largely with colleagues that we want to thank Mr. Mutembei for having faith in Senate. But I want to agree with most of our colleagues that we should not be in the business of micromanaging the running of county affairs through County Public Service Board or Human Resource. And I wish this House as a matter of general policy and general principles where the guidance of the Senate should have been sought. Mr. Speaker, finally, I want to invite colleagues to look at Article 234 of the Constitution. 2I, it says, hear and determine appeals in respect of the county government's public service. So I think this matter, the person who should have done this should have exhausted other means of appeal, because if we continue looking at any individual case by case basis across all 47 county governments, I agree, Speaker, there could be many issues in terms of human resource, issues of wage bill, many issues that bedevil our counties. But, Mr. Speaker, my advice to the petitioner is he should find a way of ensuring if the county government's public service board, I remember once a time I was a member of Labour Committee under Chairperson Senator Sakaja, and we had even reached a level of having a National County Public Service Act that would have looked into all these issues, or having an umbrella body. But be made as be, Mr. Speaker, sir, unity. The petitioner can still use the National Public Service Commission to iron out and sort out some of these issues that they might have grievances. I know they have a right under Article 41 on the labor rights. They should use such avenues to ensure that this issue can be resolved once and for all. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Wako, what's your point of order?
Speaker, I know you warned Senator Kangata, and as you can see...
Order, Senator, order. Senator Kangata.
I don't know what he's pleading with Senator Omanga, but I think your order should have been physical distance. And where's his mask? Because whatever he's pleading, he can plead outside. Thank you.
Senators, let's be serious. Those engagements can be done out of the chamber. Senator Wako.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to come and add my voice to this. Mr. Speaker, much has been said about the petitioner and the petition itself. I just want to say that as Senate, now that this petition has come, we have the opportunity to look into this. But in future, I think proper verification must be done before we deliberate. The issue of saying that we give it the shortest time possible, I think may not sound well outside there, because we are here to serve Kenyans, and the petitioner has the right to be heard, and we are here to create that listening ear. Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that now that the petition has come, let us give the petitioner the attention that this petition deserves, and also see how best we can handle. Mr. Speaker, again, important to note is that as we have been discussing the issue of revenue sharing, a lot of criticism has been based on the county government. The issue of corruption, which, if you follow, is stressed to the procurement department. And so many people are interested in that particular department because of many things which we may not know. And so let us give the petitioner the time to be heard. And I want to request even the chair of the Labour Committee so that they create enough time. And in future, we do not need to come here and say so many things, but at the beginning, those who look at the petitions can guide us, and we don't need to discuss other things. Because by saying what we have said, we are putting many Kenyans off, and that is not right, Mr. Speaker. So thank you so much. I support the petitioner and say that whether it is right or not, let us discuss, let us give it attention, and guide the House in the right way. Thank you.
Okay, honorable senators. You freeze where you are, or sit. Senator Wako. Honorable senators. Freezing means you just stand where you are without movement. So, honorable senators, pursuant to Standing Order 2321, the petition is hereby committed to the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. In terms of Standing Order 232, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading the prayer to respond to the petitioner by way of report addressed to the petitioner and laid on the table of the Senate. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Statements. Oh. Chair Ad Hoc Committee on Mess.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 8th September 2020. Report of the Ad Hoc Committee on Managed Equipment Services on the inquiry into the Managed Equipment Services project by the Ministry of Health. Now, for the benefit of the members, it will be immediately loaded into... Yes, thank you.
Standing Committee on National Security. Do we have the Vice Chair? Okay.
Chair, Mr. Speaker, sir, I have the privilege to lay the paper of a statement which was presented before the committee today. The statement of the arrest of the 3 senators.
Is a report?
It's a report, Mr. Speaker. I beg.
What's your point of order, Senator? There's already a point of order. Sakaja, take your seat.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate that there were changes in committees were done recently. And maybe there's not been an induction, but traditionally, even when you do that, you must say, I beg to lay. That is a tradition of Parliament. And then the other flowery language can come, the privilege and all that. But you must beg to lay and you lay. And
so
then now
we just read what is written there without getting into
without
a lot of trouble.
But Mr. Speaker, I beg you do the induction soon, please.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Senator for Nairobi. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the report of the committee Excuse me. Oh, okay. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today. The report on the implementation of the directive issued by the Speaker of the Senate on Monday, 17th August 2020 regarding whereabouts of the 3 senators.
Senator Kasanga. What's your point of order, Senator Malala?
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to go through the report. But Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to your attention and to the attention of this House that last week I wrote a letter to your office.
What's your point of order?
That's what I want to build on. The same issue. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, last week I wrote a letter to your office stating categorically that my life was in danger. And Mr. Speaker, this is not a laughing matter. In my letter, I categorically stated the threats of my life. I even mentioned the officers by name and by staff number. I even mentioned the vehicles they are using. I even mentioned the rifles that they have. I even mentioned the venues of the meetings that they have been having to ensure that they threaten my life and harm me, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, your office wrote to the IG, and I request, up to now, Mr. Speaker, I have not been assured of my security, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to use the privilege of this House, Mr. Speaker, to say that my life is still in danger, Mr. Speaker. And it is only your chair that can protect my life, Mr. Speaker. It will be bad, Mr. Speaker, for you to take this matter lightly. And then tomorrow, you hear that Senator Malala has been assassinated, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask you, Mr. Speaker, kindly move with speed and protect Senator Malala against these people, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Senator Cheriot, what's your point of order? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to add a further additional point to what is being raised by Senator Malala, that the way this House has treated this particular issue, Mr. Speaker, leaves a lot to be desired. Mr. Speaker, it's not a very good practice or in the conduct of parliamentary business that what happened to 3 of our colleagues is handled in the manner in which it has been handled. We have seen a report being tabled today, Mr. Speaker. I expected that the leaders, led by leader of majority, leader of minority, would at least have given priority to this report today before the conduct of any business, because a threat to the life of any colleague is an indirect threat to your life also as a member of parliament, because you do not know when is it that you will take a position that is unpopular to a dictatorial regime such as the one that is presiding over Kenya right now, and they'll come for your life, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator.
Mr. Speaker, when we appeared before the Committee on National Security of this House, we were denied the opportunity to ask questions. In fact, you would have confused the chair and the vice chair for being PRO officers for the Minister for Interior, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
It was shameful what happened.
What's your point of order,
And
Senator
the further decision.
Order, members.
Mr. Speaker,
Senator Bokisho.
allow me to, I'm about to conclude. Allow me to conclude. I'm on a point of order.
Okay, order. Okay.
I'm on a point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Let him conclude.
I'm on a point of order.
Okay, let him conclude. Okay, let him conclude.
Keep your cool, leader of majority.
Order. Conclude.
You know, leader of majority is my father. So he should allow his children to express their feelings without feeling agitated. Because if we are wrong anyway, he can later on use parliamentary opportunity available, even call me to his office later and advise me that you're out of order. But for now, leader of majority, allow us to say what transpired before that committee, that it was extremely unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that as colleagues, when we went before that particular committee, first of all, number one, media was locked out. And this is not the first time. Today we want a ruling from you, Mr. Speaker, on this practice by this particular committee of kicking out the media. This is the second time that, the last time, Mr. Speaker, when we raised an issue on the issue of Huduma numbers, and the minister appeared before this particular, we must know what is the interest that members of this committee have with this particular minister, such that every time he appears before this House, media is kicked out, Mr. Speaker. On that particular day again, media was kicked out. Senators were not allowed the opportunity to ask questions. I felt a lot of anger and pain when Senator Cherargei tried just to raise a simple question. And you know, Senator Cherargei has had his fair share of run-ins with that particular ministry and the leadership. It was a fair opportunity for him to ask questions. He was shut down. The chair told him to his face that he's not needed in that committee. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, there are 3 issues that are before you, that before we proceed into the further order of business that is before you, you must give a ruling on, Mr. Speaker.
No, order, members. Order. I want to say this, that of course the issues that Senator Malala has raised are very serious, and I would want to advise that he brings it as a personal statement to this House, so that order. Because they have just laid the report on the table, and of course we will need time to go through it, for you to interrogate it and give your comments. That's why I was saying, because he had just given, he intervened, I was saying he will bring a personal statement. Then when we are discussing that report, even the issues that you are raising, Senator Cheriot, will then be discussed in a more detailed way, because we also have other papers that have to be laid. Then we thought that we are able to make progress. Senator Wetangula. Okay, just a minute more, Senator. Senator Wetangula is there. Just hold on, Senator Wetangula.
Thank you I'll not go into the details of the statement, but Mr. Speaker, we have a history in this country. When a member stands up and alleges that his life is in danger, we look back, Mr. Speaker, and the distinguished Senator for Siaya can tell you this. J.M. Kariuki stood on the floor of the House and said his life was in danger. It was brushed off. He was found partly eaten by hyenas in Ngong Forest. Mr. Speaker, later, Tony Ndilinge, with whom we were in Parliament, with Senator Orengo, stood on the floor and said his life was in danger. Members even laughed at him. A week later, his body was found in Mwiki, in Githurai. So, Mr. Speaker, the least we want to encourage you as our Speaker is to send an immediate message to the IG that the matter raised by the distinguished Senator for Kakamega can and should not be taken lightly, indeed, by any senator who feels that his life is in danger, so that the IG can assure you as the leader of this House. The IG can also assure the country that indeed, like he has a duty to protect the life and the property of every individual Kenyan, he has an even greater duty to protect the life of a senator who is feeling apprehensive that his life is in danger.
Senator Murkomen.
Mr. Speaker, I think you need to take this thing very seriously. Because, Mr. Speaker, it started with Cherargei, the Speaker, way before. It moved to Susan being denied security. It moved to me, my security, when I was removed as majority leader, my security was withdrawn. I had to call the president himself to return it. Mr. Speaker, it went to Sakaja. He was arrested, Mr. Speaker. And then we came here and laughed, and we're still joking across the country that it has something to do with ladies' lounge. Mr. Speaker, it moved from there, it went to the 3 senators. So, Mr. Speaker, it becomes that story of the German priest, Mr. Speaker, who said, when they came for the Jews, I didn't speak because I wasn't a Jew. When they came for the communists, I didn't speak because I was not a communist. When they come to the people of labor movement, I didn't because I wasn't a member of a labor movement. But by the time they came for me, there was no one to speak. Mr. Speaker, they will go around, these senators, on different issues that will be coming to this House, and then finally they will come for you. Mr. Speaker, and by that time, there is no one to speak because it looks like it's picking people around in this chamber. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, a report has been laid. And Mr. Speaker, if you saw the confidence of the Vice Chair, he was not confident. It's not like he was struggling, Mr. Speaker, laying that paper. It's because it's not a paper worth being laid in this House. Mr. Speaker, we know Uta. We know Uta when he's confident. We know when he has done the right thing. You could see him shaking, Mr. Speaker, when he was here. And Mr. Speaker, I say so because apart from the committee, Mr. Speaker, apart from the committee rejecting media to go there, they did not invite Senator Malala to the committee. They did not invite Senator Langat to the committee. They did not invite Senator Lelekwe to that committee, Mr. Speaker, and we want to make it business as usual. Mr. Speaker, I don't believe that is a report that is what being called the Senate committee report.
Senator Orengo, Leader of Minority.
First of all, Mr. Speaker, let me just say one point as a preamble. I think we owe it to the Republic of Kenya that when there is a sitting of the Senate or of any committee and you intend not to allow the media, you must give a plausible explanation And you don't give that explanation after the event. You give that explanation before. That happens in the courts. If you want the public or the media to not take part in the proceedings, the court must give reasons. And you know, the Constitution says that if you want to make a decision which is adverse to any person who is interested in that decision, you must give notice or you must give a reasonable explanation. Me, for once, I would never tolerate a situation where the deliberations of the House, either in the committee or in plenary, are closed to the public. That is not possible in a democratic society. Yes. The second thing, Mr. Speaker, which Senator Wetangula referred to, there is standard security given to members of parliament. Once that standard security is removed from any member of parliament, it is a matter of concern, not to that particular member, but to the Senate as a whole. I remember there was a time when the security of Senator Mudama was taken away from him. We brought that matter to the floor of the House, and the Speaker ensured that the security was returned. Yeah. So I think that now that Senator Malala has stood here and addressed this matter as a matter of public concern, it cannot rest. The Speaker, and I know already you had pointed out to me at some stage that the letter has reached you, but now that he has raised this matter on the floor of the House, something must be done. Mr. Speaker, the issue of security is very important. I was engaged in the the trial of the murder of Dr. Uko. The first thing that happened was the security was removed from Dr. Ouko. And what happened subsequently is history. If there's a man that I thought he was good, holy, and religious, who should never have met that fate, it would be Dr. Robert Ouko. Has stood, and he said there was a lot of points of order against what he was saying. But Waruru Kanja said, I must speak because I want to tell the people of Kenya my life is in danger. I don't want to be found dead like Dr. Uko because I will not be able to raise that issue. So the fact that Senator Malala has raised this issue from the floor, I hope that immediate action should be taken and then the inquiry can proceed. But the question of his security must be dealt with immediately, because if it is left in abeyance, then something will happen, and all of us who are here will feel collectively guilty. Because after the death of Dr. Uko, I know a lot of people felt very guilty, because Uko had actually been pointing out to people that his life is in danger, and it looked like a story. I was in the House at that time when Dr. Uko was a very lonely figure. He used to sit on the front benches. He used to come to sit where we used to sit in the back bench with Abuya and Koigi, because he was sensing something was going to happen to him, but he was not courageous enough to stand up and say it. And now that Malala has spoken, let us forget our differences and think about his life. Because it could happen to you, it could happen to me. I have seen so many people lose their lives who are members of this House in the circumstances where they should not have died. And Mr. Speaker, therefore, what am I saying? I'm saying that from your chair, some directives should be made immediately and now, so that we don't live in guilt tomorrow. Because if you give it tomorrow and something happens today, we'll be collectively guilty of this affair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Pareno from the other chamber, then Senator Wako, then...
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me an opportunity to comment on this issue of the security of members, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I'm a member of the Committee on National Security. And first of all, I want to say that it is not right for members, or I think it was Senator Murkomen who said that probably the report is not worth. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that as members of the National Security Committee, we did our job. We did justice to the matter that was before us. We took the matter of threats to the members and the arrest to the members of the members. We took it very seriously. And I want to urge members to look at the report that has been laid, not to seem to look at the report that has been laid. Mr. Speaker, because we are not yet debating the report, they should be able to read and be able to see that we have made far-reaching recommendations as far as the security of members is concerned, Mr. Speaker. So
What's
I
your
want
point
to
of order,
affirm,
Senator Sakaja?
Order. Mr. Speaker, I'm actually shocked to hear this from Senator Pareno. Is it in order for my good friend Senator Pareno to say that the committee did justice to this matter while I myself attended, raised my own issues of being trailed, gave them number plates, of me being trailed by DCI officers, yet I was dismissed and I was not even asked for any further details. So what justice? Is she in order to mislead the House, honestly, Mr. Speaker? And this is a committee I have chaired for 2 years in this House. In the absence of Senator Haji because of BBI, I've been chairing this committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, despite the fact that I agree that Senator Cherargei and Senator Sakaja were not given the proper chance that they should have had before that committee. But that does not mean that as a committee we did not consider what was before us, which was the threats and the arrest of Senator Malala, Senator Lelegwe, and the other senator. Mr. Speaker, if you look at that report, we actually made far-reaching
What's your point of order, Senator, Leader of Majority?
Speaker, it is basically on procedure, Mr. Speaker. And I think while we might get carried away or agitated, Speaker, by certain things which have happened, which we don't necessarily condone, I think just for the order of our House, Mr. Speaker, the statements which have been said about colleagues, even the statement about casting aspersions on the Vice Chairman of Security, and also, Mr. Speaker, using an opportunity like this in a not a very proper manner, Mr. Speaker. I think we all condemn, but the paper has been laid, Mr. Speaker. I think we're all going to look at the copies. We have already canvassed on it, and so I'm hoping, Mr. Speaker, that we can just follow our procedure. But I want to assure, Mr. Speaker, the members, including Senator Malala, that the matter has been raised, and you have had the opportunity to be heard. The Speaker has heard. We have heard. And so I think we'll move from here as the Speaker has been given. And Mr. Speaker, just guide so that we don't have to attack each other on matters like this. Thank you, Speaker.
Senator, had you finished, Senator Pareno? I had given Senator Wako an opportunity. Senator Wako, then I will. Where is she? Pareno.
Mr. Speaker, there were a lot of points of order, so I sat so that I give others a chance to raise their point of orders. But I was simply saying that in as much as there are issues that arose out of within the hearing, like the issues that are being raised by Senator Sakaja, I want to say that we considered those issues, and I was only inviting members to be kind enough to look at the report, and if it fell short of addressing that issue, then they'll be able to raise what they are raising now. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wako.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to speak on this. I see people laughing here, thereby indicating that this matter may not be as serious as they think. or treating it lightly. Issues of security, particularly when they involve the right to life, are very critical. And as others have said, when it concerns political leaders, it becomes even a matter for the nation. Because each leader that has lost his life in the manner that other people have spoken here, this country almost broke down. Whether you are talking about Tom Boyer, whether you are talking about Robert Ouko, or J.M. Kariuki and others, this country almost broke down. And therefore, the issue we are discussing here goes just beyond Malala. It goes to the root of security, peace and security of the nation of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is not enough to say that he has been heard and that the matter will be considered. That's not enough. On a matter of security of this nature, what we need is to know immediately what action has been taken on that complaint, particularly where a leader has taken the trouble to use his own resources to investigate, and in his complaint, he has given really detailed particulars of numbers of vehicles, policemen, all those involved. When he has done that, then the least we can expect is an immediate withdrawal of those vehicles or the people following him, or an immediate response to say that they are not after him, or something, then some action to be taken to replace, for the Malala to be given the security that he deserves. Mr. Speaker, sir, this country is a very good country, peace and stability and so on, but every now and again something happens which makes us shudder. And I would want to believe that never again are we going to have the type of instances that happened in the past which brought this country down. And hence, my request to you, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the IG should first of all just immediately, because the details are there, say immediately they are withdrawn as he provides security to Malala. But that either withdrawal or denial or something has to be done immediately. Thank you.
Okay, order, senators. I see this is a matter that has attracted a lot of interest when I look at my list. But I want to say this as we proceed, that immediately Senator Malala wrote to my office. I did a letter to the IG raising the issues that Senator Malala had brought to my attention and asking him to take immediate action. Of course, the paper has just been laid on the floor of the House, and this is what I wanted to direct because I know we shall have an opportunity to discuss this matter. The report, that tomorrow at 10 a.m., the IG appears before the Security Committee, and that the committee, and that all those also be allowed to attend. And even order members, and also, I have not finished. Order, don't rush me. Proceedings be open to media and all those who are interested in listening to this matter. It is so directed. Senator Kasanga. Order, members. I hope you are not challenging my ruling. Okay. Yes, Senator Malala, then Mazayo, then Ledama, then Mohamud.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for your wisdom, but my worry is, does that direction guarantee my security tonight? That is my question. Does it
Senator,
guarantee my security, Mr. Speaker?
it does guarantee your security.
Tonight?
Tonight, because you are, even yesterday you were alive. And I'm hoping that you will still be alive tonight. I have not seen anything. Okay. Okay, Senator Madzayo, I'm coming.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika. Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, nakubaliana na uamuzi wako uliofanya. Lakini nilikuwa nataka kukuomba kitu kimoja Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, yule mwenyekiti wa kamati ya justice na ya sheria na mambo ya human rights, haki za binadamu, pia yeye awe mmoja wa wale wanakiti ambao watakuwa katika hii kamati ambayo itakuwa kamati ambayo itaangalia.
We cannot go back on that matter. I have directed that the IG will come tomorrow, and all those who will be allowed to go there. I've made a ruling.
Bwana Speaker.
Order, members. Order, members. Order.
Bwana Speaker.
Order.
Bwana Speaker.
Order. Let us be. Order, members. Order, senators. Please. I have made a ruling on that matter. We cannot go back on that matter because then we are setting a bad precedent. I have said, order, I have said Malala's security, I'm on my feet. We are going to ensure that Malala's security is guaranteed. I have given that directive. And tomorrow when the IG comes, we'll look at it. Next order. Okay, Senator Cheriot. Ordered. Point of order.
From that one, Senator for Kilifi, Senator Stewart Madzawa has made a very humble plea to you, of which I want to request you, Mr. Speaker, that you grant that Justice and Legal Affairs Committee be enjoined in prosecuting this matter. The reason we are pleading with you in this matter, Mr. Speaker, is because we know how difficult it is to appear before the Security Committee. I do not intend to discuss the conduct of the leadership of that committee, Mr. Speaker, but bear with some of us. Some of us are extremely young, that when we go before that committee and have to engage the chair, it is not, it's not an interesting experience, Mr. Speaker. Okay. It's not respectful. Okay. Therefore, I want to plead with you that you accede to the request by Senator for Kilifi to allow this exercise to be carried out jointly Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. Please.
Okay, order, members. The order. Oh, not on that same matter. No. We have to make progress. Okay, I have said, order, members. The request by Senator Madzayo is granted. Next order. It's granted. Senator Kasanga.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 8th September 2020. Report of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on the inquiry into the conduct of senators during the election of the chairperson and vice chairperson of the Standing Committee on Health. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay of the Senate today, Tuesday, 8th September 2020.
Order, there's a lot of
Mr.
consultation.
Speaker, there is too much consultation.
Order, members, let's consult in low tones.
Number one, the Public Health COVID-19 General Public Safety Rules 2020, legal notice number 129 of 2020. Number two, the Public Health COVID-19 Sale of Alcoholic Drinks Rules, legal notice number 163 of 2020. I thank you.
Finance Committee.
Waziri wa fedha hapa. Mutura
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 8th September 2020. Report on the Standing Committee on the Finance and Budget on the petition presented by Senator Enoch Wabua MP on non-payment of Kitui County Executive of pending bills incurred during the financial year 2015-2016. Mr. Speaker, I also beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 8th September 2020. Report on the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the Equalization Fund Bill, National Assembly Bill number 43 of 2019. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Senator Kasanga.
I beg to give notice of motion for adoption of report of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on the inquiry into the conduct of the two senators, that the Senate adopts the report of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on the inquiry into the conduct of Senator Beatrice Kwamboka MP and Senator Mary Seneta MP during the election of the chairperson and vice chairperson of the Standing Committee on Health, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 2nd, 8th September 2020. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair, Miss.
I wish to give notice of the following motion, that is adoption of the report of the ad hoc committee on managed medical equipment services, that the Senate adopts the report of the ad hoc committee on managed equipment services on inquiry into managed equipment services project by the Ministry of Health, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 8 September.
Counties that aware that Section 46 of the Basic Education Act 2013 mandates the county education boards to provide for education assessment and research centers, that is EACs, including a special needs service in identified clinics in their respective counties. Further aware that the functions of the EACs as provided by the Act include the study of children with special education needs within the county, the giving of advice to parents and teachers as to appropriate methods of education for such children in suitable cases, provision for the special education needs of such children in the identified clinics, and the giving of advice to county education boards regarding the assessment of needs of any child under special needs education for purposes of any of the provisions of the Basic Education Act 2013, noting that given the critical role EACs play in assessment, placement, and early intervention of children with special needs, EACs countrywide are currently in a dilapidated and dysfunctional state. Now, therefore, the Senate calls upon the county governments to operationalize Section 46 of the Basic Education Act 2013 by 1, ensuring that EACs in the respective counties are fully furnished and adequately staffed, and 2, working in tandem with the national government to develop a national policy on EACs that will define the expected service delivery in accordance with internationally set standards and regulate the terms of employment for the staff. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order. Order number 7, statements.
The first statements are 47-1, Senate. Sorry. I'm advised that there is either as
Madam. Madam Speaker, I'll ask for your indulgence on this one. It's a statement pursuant to Standing Order 52.
Order, members. Let's give audience to the majority leader.
Speaker, Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52.2 of the Standing Orders to make a statement concerning access by county governments to their share of nationally raised revenue for financial year 2020. What's happened to the volume? Is it my problem? Let them make the microphone. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52.2 of the Standing Orders to make a statement concerning access by county governments to their share of national raised revenue for financial year 2020-2021. Madam Speaker, as you're aware, under the Constitution of Kenya 2010, there is a two-tier process on how revenue is shared between the two levels of government. In the first instance, and pursuant to Article 218, 1A of the Constitution, Parliament considers and passes the Division of Revenue Bill, which provides revenue raised nationally divides revenue raised nationally between the national and county levels of government. In this respect, the Division of Revenue Act of 2020 was passed by Parliament and assented to on the 22nd April 2020. In the second instance, and pursuant to Article 218, 1B of the Constitution, Parliament considers and passes the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, which allocates among counties the revenue allocated to the county level of government on the basis determined in accordance with the resolution passed under Article 217 of the Constitution. The County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2020 was published on 17th April 2020, read the first time on 21st April 2020, second reading, debate on the bill commenced on the 5th of May 2020, and was adjourned, pursuant to Standing Order 105, to allow the Senate to consider and pass the third basis for allocating revenue among counties, the share of national revenue that's annually allocated to the county level of government. The passage of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2020 is predicated upon the resolution made by the Senate pursuant to Article 217 of the Constitution, considering that the second generation formula has lapsed. Madam Speaker, Article 224 of the Constitution provides on the basis of the Division of Revenue Bill approved by Parliament under Article 218, each county government shall prepare and adopt its own annual budget and appropriation bill in the form and according to the procedure prescribed in an Act of Parliament. However, while a reading of Article 224 would seem to imply that the budget process at the county level of government is determined by the Division of Revenue Bill, it should be noted that Article 224 is operationalized where there is a subsisting basis for the horizontal allocation of the county government's share of nationally raised revenue among counties. Madam Speaker, a consideration of this synopsis of events therefore reveals that with respect to this financial year, we are in a very unique situation where the vertical allocation of counties is ascertainable from the Division of Revenue Act, while the horizontal allocation determined by the County Allocation of Revenue Bill is yet to be ascertained, as it depended upon the resolution of the Senate under Article 217 of the Constitution. Madam Speaker, the budget-making process and allocation of revenue between the two levels of government is not merely an academic exercise. At the heart of the public governance is the delivery of public service. The efficient and effective delivery of public services is dependent on resources. The delay in passage of the county allocation of revenue bill not only represents a delay in the transfer of funds to county governments, but is likely to result in the crippling of services at the county level of government. We are almost at the end of the first quarter of this financial year, and no transfer has been made to county governments. A delay in the determination of allocations due to county governments will ex ante cause disruption in the budget-making process for county governments and ex post affect the effective implementation of the budget. These two scenarios therefore beg the question whether county governments have a remedy within the law that would allow limited access to their share of the nationally raised revenue. I would like to first call your attention to the provisions of Section 2 of the Public Finance Management Act, which provides if the county appropriation bill for a financial year has not been assented to, or is likely to be assented to by the beginning of a financial year, a county assembly may authorize the withdrawal of money from the county revenue fund. Money withdrawn under the subsection 1A may be used only for the purpose of meeting expenditure necessary to carry the services of the county governments during the financial year concerned until such a time as the relevant appropriation law is passed. And B, may not exceed in total one half of the amount included in the estimates of the expenditures submitted to the county assembly for that year. So, Madam Speaker, the 134 of the Public Finance Management Act, however, the option of votes on account would arise where the Division of Revenue Bill and the County Allocation of Revenue Bill have been passed, and for whatever reason, a county assembly has not passed an appropriation bill. The section does not contemplate the present situation where the County Allocation of Revenue Bill has not been passed and national revenue has not been divided among counties. So, Madam Speaker, perhaps the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act, county governments, regulations, would provide a clearer way forward. Regulation 134 of the Public Finance Management Act, National Government Regulations, provides this way: that for equitable transfer before approval of county allocation of revenue bill, if the county allocation of revenue bill submitted to Parliament for a financial year has not been approved by the Parliament, or it is not likely to be approved by Parliament by the beginning of the financial year, the Comptroller of Budget may authorize withdrawals of up to 50% from the consolidated fund based on the last county allocation of revenue Act approved by Parliament for the purposes of meeting expenditure of the county governments for the financial year. 2, the authority under paragraph 1 shall cease upon assent of the County Allocation of Revenue Act for the financial year. And 3, the transfer to county governments made under paragraph 1 under this regulation shall form part of their equitable transfer for the financial year. It is prudent to remember that these regulations are made under authority conferred on the Cabinet Secretary under Section 205 of the Public Finance Management Act and under the principles espoused under Article 94(5) of the Constitution. It is my unequivocal position that whereas the principle of Act does not deal directly with the question of transfers in the absence of County Allocation of Revenue Act, the regulations are clear on the remedy available to counties. Madam Speaker, the conundrum we are faced with has been the subject of judicial consideration. In advisory opinion number 3 of 2019, the Council of Governors and 47 others versus Attorney General and 6 others, the question of funds transferred to county governments in the event of a delay in the process of enacting Division Revenue Bill was canvassed by the Supreme Court. The following constitutes the court's ruling on the matter. Therefore, our considered opinion, this is a court's ruling, it is therefore a considered opinion that should an impasse occur during the failure of the mediation process, occasioned by the lack of concurrence between the two houses over the Division Revenue Bill, the National Assembly shall, for the purpose of meeting the expenditure necessary to carry on the services of county government during that year, until such time as the Division of Revenue Act is assented to. Authorize the withdrawal of money from the consolidated fund. The money so withdrawn shall be included under separate votes for the several services in respect of which they were withdrawn. It is to be expected that each county assembly would have to readjust their respective budgets and appropriation bills accordingly. This leaves us with a question regarding the percentage to be withdrawn from the consolidated fund. While the withdrawal of money for the purpose of the national government under Article 222 is based on the percentage of the estimates of expenditure for that year, the same method cannot apply to the county government, since the monies do not include the equitable revenue share due to the counties. Logic would require that the percentage of the money to be withdrawn be based on the Division of Revenue bill. Yet this would be legally untenable, given the fact that the bill is not only the subject matter of a controversy, but is also yet to pass into law. In the circumstances, it is our view that in the event of an impasse, the percentage of the money to be withdrawn be based on the equitable allocation to counties in the Division of Revenue Act of the preceding year, financial year. In keeping with the spirit of Article 222(2)(b) of the Constitution, the money to be withdrawn shall be the 50% of the total equitable share allocated to the counties in the Division of Revenue Act. Madam Speaker, at the outset, let me point out that the Supreme Court advisory opinion relates to the situation where the Division of Revenue Bill has not been enacted. This is distinguishable from the present scenario where the Division of Revenue Act has not been enacted and the county's share has been enacted, and the county's share of nationally raised revenue has been determined. Access to these funds will therefore not be subject to the approval of the National Assembly or be predicated on the passage of an appropriation bill. The global allocation to counties has already been made by the Division of Revenue Act. However, the advisory opinion remains useful for our present purposes, as it would have the same net effect that we are trying to achieve. The directions of the court would result in the transfer of 50% of the allocation made to each county government in the immediate preceding financial year. Indeed, the manner in which the court arrived at this conclusion is aligned to my statement today. In considering the question to access of funds by counties during the delay in the enactment of legislation contemplated under Article 218 of the Constitution, the court employed a purposive interpretation of the Constitution. They based their opinion on the overarching principle of continuity in government as set out in Article 222 of the Constitution and espoused in the rulings of the Supreme Court. The court found that a reading of the law whose consequence would be the grinding to a halt of a delivery of services by the county governments would represent a subversion of Article 222 of the Constitution, and yet a constitution cannot subvert itself. There must therefore be a remedy for counties to continue delivering on public services. Madam Speaker, on the premise of the law and facts that I have canvassed above, therefore it is incumbent upon the Cabinet Secretary of the National Treasury to implement provisions of Regulation 134 of the Public Finance Management Act, the national government regulations, and further fortified by the ratio decidendi of the court in advisory opinion of 2019, to transfer to the counties 50% of the allocation made in the County Allocation of Revenue Act 2019. This would ensure that the continuity of the delivery of services by county governments as a means to an end, but also as a means of promoting the option as set out in Article 175(b) of the Constitution. Madam Speaker, I raise this statement because of the misunderstanding for the Senate not to come out in this manner. And we had to do this because you can hear even governors accusing the Senate. And Madam Speaker, you can hear governors saying,
I would have thought the Council of Governors would sit together and said, we are an endangered species. Yes. What do we do in order to survive? Because at this rate, they are likely not to survive. Just on the newspaper alone, there are 8 of them. Yeah. And I don't see a single senator. Whenever you see the Senate on the first page, it is on something else which is political and not, yeah. So this is a statement that should not have come from the governors at all. And Madam Speaker, finally, I would want to say this on this issue, which is very important as far as I am concerned, that Madam Speaker, the governors, and I've got a lot of respect for many of governors, so many of them are my friends. If those who attended the burial of Governor Laboso in the middle of contention of how much money should go to the counties, it was the governor, the chairman of the Council of Governors, who is my party leader, who said 316 million is enough. What are we complaining about? What are we complaining about? It is them at a meeting with the executive who said that 316 billion shillings is enough. When we were struggling to make sure that we get what the counties deserve, and they refused. In fact, if governors knew their work in the county, they should have supported the Senate to the hilt. But now they want the money. They want the money. They want not only this money that they are being given by Parliament, they want the COVID money also. They want the box. Yeah, they want the box. But they don't want oversight. They don't want to account. What type of people are these? Woe unto them! And Madam Speaker, you know there's an article in the Constitution, Article 104, where you can recall a member of Parliament. I am very proud to say that for these 10 years, I have not heard of any constituency where members of a particular constituency are calling for a recall of a member of the Senate. Yes. Not even once. But if you want to go by the number of impeachment motions that are waiting or have been posted, yes, there are so many that I don't think we have even the capacity to deal with all of them, if at all they land here. So in conclusion, Madam Speaker, I want to say that the governors should live up to the mandate and the job they were given. If they want money, they must be oversighted. Yes. If they think there's a crime committed by senators, they should go to Integrity House or Vigilant House or Uko Karibu na Karura Forest. They make a complaint. We are not above the law. But it cannot be an excuse for them to run away from oversight and audit by institutions of government. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senators, Senate members, honorable senators. I am guided by the resolution of the House Business Committee today that we will take only those that statement under 52.2, and it will not attract any debate for now. I think on Thursday when we come together, we will really dispose some of the things that we have. So I'm saying this because I have seen a number of requests, and I wanted to mention that we will move, therefore, to the next order. Thank you. Next order. The next statement is under Standing Order 47-1. And I will start with the statement from Alice Milko. Honorable Senators, I also want to say that we have a big number of statements today, and I'm going to beg for your indulgence that for statements under 47.1, we will only allow 2 interventions, and when it comes to statements under 48.1, which are statements that must go to the committees, let us make sure that every member is given a chance to... Senator, can you take your seat first? Please, take your seat.
Madam Speaker, help me to so that my voice can be heard.
From Senator here, but please don't take take your seat. I didn't want 2 members standing at the same time. Senator Mahmoud. Give him the mic, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm sorry to say this, but you know, on a matter of that importance, on a matter which the whole country is waiting for funds to the counties, a statement was issued by the leader of majority in this House. You ruled that the Senate Business Committee this morning decided nobody should contribute. In fact, on other statements which are very trivial, we allow half 15 minutes to be done. Madam Speaker, is it in order for the chair to gag the Senate?
On the same? Yes, Senator Juriat? Yeah.
Madam Speaker, we want to humbly plead with you that this is a very important statement that has been issued by the leader of majority. The character and conduct of Senate is on trial. You've heard what governors have said. You've heard what cabinet ministers have said. The least that members of this House can do is to at least show up support and speak to the issues that have been canvassed by our leadership. So to offer an opportunity to leader of majority and minority only and deny us the chance to prosecute our issues is not fair, Madam Speaker. We want to humbly plead with you that you kindly find it within you to allow us, even if it is only 3 minutes per senator, to speak on this matter, because it's extremely important. Many of us are going to public functions of the weekend, and the governors are telling people, if there's no medicine in this hospital, kindly ask your senator. They haven't provided the funding. It's a very important issue, Madam Speaker.
Point taken, Senator Kinyua. He's also on a point of order, Senator Gerard Gay. Allow Senator Kinyua to say...
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As a former chair devolution, Mr. Speaker, and the counties... Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very important matter, and it's concerning our counties. Mr. Speaker, all statements that will follow are important, but the issue of money going to the county is very important, Mr. Speaker. And everybody is saying that the Senate are failing in their duties. That's why the services to the county are almost grinding to a halt. If we don't speak about this matter now, Mr. Speaker, we'll be failing in our duties. And I would urge you, Madam Speaker.
Point taken, Senator Gerard Gay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I think this matter of national gravity should be taken with seriousness deserved. Madam Speaker, for your information, the Council of Governors sat today in their extraordinary summit today, and they did discuss this House, alleging that the lack of funds, and they have said even devolution is under attack. Yet we cannot be able to converse on the floor of the House so that Kenyans can understand where the truth is. Madam Speaker, I beg of you, give us an opportunity of even 2 to 3 minutes to converse on this issue so that Kenyans can understand and know the truth. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to join my colleagues to urge you, Madam Speaker, that you give senators an opportunity to converse this matter. For one reason, Madam Speaker. Last week, you had the Council of Governors purporting to give directions to this Senate, purporting to say that they have capacity to order the closure of the Senate. Madam Speaker, this institution is under attack, and we have a duty and a responsibility to safeguard the interests of counties, not the interests of individual governors, Madam Speaker. give us an opportunity to ventilate on this matter, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Masitsa Naomi Shionga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll add my voice to my colleagues. Madam Speaker, it is very absurd when governors have extraordinary sittings to discuss about the Senate, and the Senate, in response, gives only an opportunity to 2 people. It is my urge that if you give us also an opportunity to defend ourselves, because the matter that is affecting the counties affect us too. And if at all they are there to go and proclaim outside there that we are holding at ransom the government of Kenya, everywhere they are saying that we are the ones holding the money. We need to defend this Senate. We need to defend our interests. We need to defend our name as a Senate. Madam Speaker, give us a chance. Give us a signal, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
I think I need to rule on this one, senators, because from where I sit, a speaker is only guided. And in the guidance that we got from this statement, the statement was read under 52.2. And a statement under 52.2 has no debate. It has no debate. And as we said, we don't want to use standing order number 1 at this stage, because we know we are going to come back on Thursday to discuss our matters. On Thursday, I'm informed that on Thursday there's going to be a meeting for dialogue between the 2 groups so that we see whether we can zero in. I think the leader, honorable senators, I think the leader of majority has done justice to this. The leader of minority has done justice to this. I want to plead with senators that we leave it at that. The governors have had us, the executive have had us, and we are going to have opportunities through the other statements to be able to throw in 1 or 2. So please, let's leave it at that. There is no debate on this one. Thank you. Next order is on statements 47-1, and I had moved on to Senator Milgo Alice.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise pursuant to standing order 47-1 to make a statement on appointment of Senator Dr. Gertrude Musuruve Nima as co-chair of the International Parliamentary Network for Education. Honorable Speaker, I congratulate Senator Dr. Gertrude Musuruve for this appointment to the IPNET. The International Parliamentary Network for Education seeks to realize the calls of SDG number 4. Honorable Speaker, in 2015, the National Community committed to include a call on education SDG number 4 among the 17 sustainable development goals to be achieved by 2030, and commitment was to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Honorable Speaker, Senator Musuruve's appointment comes at an opportune time when we are all grappling with the effects of COVID-19. Education of all children in Kenya and worldwide is affected negatively by the advent of COVID-19. Even though this is the case for every child in the education sector, children with disabilities and other marginalized communities are the most hit by this virus. IPNET seeks to ensure that the needs of the child are met first. Honorable Speaker, although education is meant to be a socioeconomic equalizer for all children, with time, the academic achievement of children with disabilities and marginalized children have been moved many uncountable steps backward during this COVID-19 period. The case of Kenya, which, with regard to recreation in education for children with disability and marginalized children, is indeed the case for other African countries. Honorable Speaker, we are 10 years away from 2030, and the promised commitment to secure education for all children by the year 2020 is at great risk nationally and internationally, and IBNET support for collective action and advocacy by parliamentarians working together on education reforms will help in realizing SDG 4. Senator Dr. Musuruve is an active member of the Standing Committee on Education. Her commitment on issues of learners with disabilities and marginalized children is encouraging. She has written and published and distributed books on sign language using her own resources, and her innate desire to contribute on matters of education is overwhelmingly pleasant. Honorable Speaker, as one of us, I'm certain that Senator Dr. Musuruve is capable of pushing the interests of the African child and our agenda as a country in support of education of the vulnerable child who are at great risk of rising out on education. Honorable Speaker, it is worth noting also that Senator Musuruve was once the Vice Chair of National Council of Nomadic Education in Kenya. Apart from being a PWD representative in the Senate, she has taught in a special school during her lifetime as a teacher, where she interacted with PWDs and feels their pinch and need. Madam Speaker, another keynote issue that cannot be ignored is that Senator Dr. Musuruve has academic qualifications in special needs education, masters in applied linguistics with a bias in sign language, a PhD in mass communication with a bias in media, portrayed on PWDs, and with all these experiences, I believe that Senator Dr. Musuruve is equal to the task. More importantly, she's also a very active member of Education Committee, and she plays a very important role in contributing to issues that have been affecting education in this country. And I call upon all of my colleagues to give her the support she may need in realizing a new assignment. It is not about her, but Kenya at the international level, pushing inclusion of vulnerable children worldwide and closing the disparity in education. Thank you, Madam Speaker. If I can just add one statement, that this position, where Senator Musuruve has been given to be a co-chair, IBNET, and the National Parliamentary Network for Education, is actually worth our recognition based on the fact that the problems that we have been having in education has actually affected very many children, particularly marginalized, and especially now that COVID-19 is around, most children are at home, and worst hit are the marginalized children. And in this case, for one of us, particularly being not only being a PWD, she's also a woman, I think we as gender, or as ladies, in this case, feel that we were greatly honored. And in this case, I wish to actually congratulate Senator Musuruve for this great appointment. And I am sure sooner than later we are going to start IBNET Kenya, so that we ensure that Sustainable Development 4, which speak to issues of not leaving anyone behind in terms of education, will be able to deal with it very well. Otherwise, congratulations once again, Senator Dr. Musuruve, and thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Two senators to contribute, Senator Sakaja, Johnson, Ada, and Senator Matsitsa, Naomi Shionga.
Madam Speaker, very briefly, because I see we have a lot of business before the House, and there are three other statements, 47-1 and 48-1, where we resolved no comments. I just want to join Senator Dr. Milgo, as well as the rest of this House, in congratulating Dr. Musuruve. She's a serious champion for the people she represents in this House, who are people living with disability. She has distinguished herself. I have chaired, or rather she's been in committees that I've chaired in this House since we came here. And no matter what you discuss, even if you're discussing agriculture, she has to say persons with disability. If you discuss water, anything, she always has to, and that is a true champion and the true essence of the current structure of representation, where we have people who represent special interests. Madam Speaker, The International Parliamentary Network on Education is extremely important. And I know they will benefit richly from Dr. Musuruve, especially because of what she's been pushing with respect to sign language, with respect to deaf learning and special learning for children with disabilities. It's a huge challenge in this country. We have children with even mental health issues or mental disabilities, autism. They don't have enough facilities. I've toured a number in Nairobi and they need assistance. Madam Speaker, I am happy to note that we shall have a champion who is going to be there. I have confidence in her. I was very sad when she was removed from my committee, and I know she's also sad to not be in my committee. But Madam Speaker, I am very confident that we indeed have a shining star representing this House and this country in this very important network. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Masitsa Naomi Shionga.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, again for giving me this opportunity to join my colleague on the statement on congratulating Senator Musurube on the new appointment. Indeed, I'm proud as a woman. Indeed, I'm a proud senator, and I'm a proud senator who comes from the same region with Senator Musurube. Madam Speaker, I want to say a big congratulations to this well-achieved appointment that Senator Musurube has gotten. Being an international appointment to co-chair an international opportunity, it is not easy. But for what Senator Musurube has done, it is worthy her getting this appointment. Madam Speaker, I want to say that Senator Musurube, as my colleague has said, Senator Sakaja, as much as he's becoming sad, I'm a proud chair that Senator Musurube has joined my committee of equal opportunity. And without Senator Musurube, sometimes I feel like there's something missing. But she has always shown that she's capable, and that shows that wherever she's put, she's able to do the much he's acquainted to do. Senator Musurube, I want to urge you that as you take this challenge, it is a good one because you have been an able lecturer in the university, and you are. You have been a good example to us as women, and we see it. You are as a champion that many of us, as a sister, we are seeing it being done here. Many of the statements, petitions, and bills that are brought in this House, they are always supported by Senator Musurube. And I want to say that, go sister, go senator, go for it. You are really championing us, and we are proud of you. The education field is big, it's worth you, and we are proud of this appointment. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and congratulations, Senator Musurube.
Thank you. I'll give Senator Ali, being the chair of Senator Musurube.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the time you've given me. I want to thank my vice chair, Senator Musurube. She's my vice chair in the Committee of Tourism, and she is an excellent lady, professor, Daktari, very capable. As Honorable Sakaja said, she will never miss a word to say in anything which we discuss. And I like that energy. Keep it up, and I wish you well in your new position and new endeavor. Thank you very much.
1 minute, Senator Faria. 1 minute, please, so that we allow us another 1 minute only for Musurube to respond.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I also wish to join my colleagues in congratulating Senator Musurube. Senator Musurube, like everybody has said, if you bring something on procurement, where is disability? If you bring this other issue, where is disability? So, you know, in life, you cannot expect to do things the same way and expect a different result. Senator Musurube has proven that you can do something exceedingly well and get reward for it like the way she has done. Madam Speaker, because you just gave me 1 minute, I want to respect that. I just stick to that 1 minute, and I wish to congratulate her for this position, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Musuruve. Can you receive the congratulations in only 1 minute? Microphone, please. Give her the microphone. Okay. How about this, the neighboring one? Try the next one. Okay, there's a mobile one coming there, Musuruwe. Senator, it's coming there. Okay. Come, let's see if that one is working. Then there is a problem. You'll still use mobile when you're there.
Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to thank all my colleagues for really supporting me for this position. And I want to say that I'm truly, truly humbled that I've been picked to serve humanity. And I want to say that it is not by mistake that I have a disability. It was actually designed by God, and I appreciate it the way God allowed it. And it is my prayer that God may use me as He intends to. And Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you so, so very much for being supportive in this initiative. And I want to let colleagues know very well that Senator Professor Kamal was actually earmarked for this particular position from the embassy. And they looked at her, they looked at me, they looked at the disability issue, and that is how I was brought on board. And I want to say that I actually opened up to Professor, and she is supporting me in this initiative. And we'll be launching the global, we will be having the event, the global event on the 14th of this month. And I want to say that the Senate of Kenya is truly represented. Our Speaker is one of the interventionists. And I want to thank all the parliamentarians. Senator Mwaura has signed the declaration. Senator Shionga has signed the declaration. I have our chair, Dr. Milko, has signed the declaration. One. origin for the organization. The pros and
Yeah, thank you, Senator. Senators, you can remove your card and restart because the system is back. I do not know whether Senator Sakacha was coming in or...
Madam Speaker, I have very little capacity on this one.
Yeah,
I wanted to speak on the next one by Senator Abshiro.
The previous one.
Yeah, this one is
the
difficult.
The next statement is from Senator Abshiro Halake.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 47-1, I rise to make a statement on an issue of general topical concern, namely imposition of VAT on clean and renewable energy products in our country. Madam Speaker, on the 23rd of June 2020, the Finance Bill 2020, which sought to amend various laws relating to taxation, proposed an amendment to the Value Added Tax Act of 2013 and introduced VAT on equipment used for the development and generation of solar, wind, and hydro energies. This law has subsequently been assented, this bill has been subsequently assented into law. On receiving the presidential assent, the bill imposed a 14% VAT to supply or importation of specialized equipment for the development and generation of solar, wind energy, and including deep cycle batteries, hydro energy, as well as clean cook stoves. Madam Speaker, taxation of clean energy or renewable energy will have far-reaching consequences, as it will not only increase the tax burden for the poor and marginally, but also act as impediment to national development. Madam Speaker, this undermines Kenya's ability to reach the national objectives of universal electrification by 2022, which will be impossible to realize with the introduction of the taxes, and more so the elements of the Big Four agenda, which is affordable housing, food security, manufacturing, and universal healthcare, which will be difficult to realize without energy in hard-to-reach places. And Madam Speaker, it should be noted that clean energy, wind energy, solar energy, clean cook stoves are used mostly and in areas such as where we come from, in northern Kenya, in Isiolo, for instance, where, and Marsabit, where there's plenty of wind, plenty of solar, and other clean energy. According to the 2019 census, Madam Speaker, solar lighting in Kenya averages 19.3%, with rural areas connectivity of 29%, higher than the rural national grid connections that stood at 26%. So, Madam Speaker, clean energy and renewable energy is actually rural-facing, so to speak. The imposition of VAT on solar equipment and batteries will make them more expensive. They already are more expensive, Madam Speaker, as we speak. A price increase of 14% would lead to 17.5% fall in their demand, and a reduction in demand will wipe out thousands of jobs in the solar and renewable energy value chains. The decentralization of the energy sector, according to the Power for All Organizations 2019 study, shows that the sector created over 10,000 direct jobs and 65,000 jobs in the communities they serve. The introduction of taxes in the sector will not only constrict its growth, but also result in job losses as companies adjust to the increased cost of doing business as a result of the taxes, which will negatively affect not just employment, but also access to the poorest of households, Madam Speaker. Kenya has a noble and achievable electrification goals, and the next 2 years will be the most critical of the country to achieve them. The main priority for the government should be to focus on securing energy for all Kenyans everywhere. Imposing VAT on solar and renewable energy generation equipment is not aligned to these electrification goals and actually is punitive to the poor households in this country, Madam Speaker. The responsibility therefore lies in the House to ensure that Kenyans, the economy and the development objectives of this country are protected through ensuring the imposition of the VAT on renewable energy product is reversed, and therefore more access is made. And actually, Madam Speaker, we have no business investing in fossil fuels at this time when everybody is actually shifting to renewable energy, but we're going back and starting to put barriers, tariff barriers or VAT barriers, taxation barriers on clean energy as we speak, Madam Speaker. I therefore urge and recommend that the initial VAT exemptions on equipment used for development and generation of solar, wind energy be retained. And because, Madam Speaker, this is this has happened midway through before the, I think it was up to 2022 that we had the exemptions. But before even the expiry of the exemption period, something else has been, the VAT has now been imposed. Madam Speaker, that creates an environment in which nobody even knows what to do because the taxation just came out of blues. We know that there's revenue collapse, Madam Speaker, but we need to make sure that people know what to expect from our taxation policies, Madam Speaker. There's no justifiable reason to impose the new taxes on renewable energy equipment and products, as it will have adverse effect on the society and economy, both in the short and long terms, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I know this is a statement under 47.1, but if you would be so advised or would be so persuaded, I would really, and be so kind, I would really be appreciative if this is really given to the Finance Committee to actually deal with this with our National Treasury and ask why at this point in time we're going back on our renewable energies, which actually are being used by our poorest households. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Nyamunga Rose Ogendo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity just to make a statement on this, just to add some points on the statement by Senator Abshiro. Madam Speaker, I think Kenya is one of the nations or countries that is overly taxed. I was looking at the dailies this week, and I think from last week, and looking at the number of people that are called the super rich in this country. Madam Speaker, there are only 40 Kenyans who are called, I think in the super multi-billionaires, only 40. And there are 2,900 who are in the next level. And looking at the percentage of the population of this country, we have only 3% that you will call rich. The rest of Kenyans are struggling. So it has been a big problem for most of us and most of women who stand for the interests of women in this country, looking at the green energy. And in my county, in Kisumu County, we've been struggling to get women to use gas for cooking. So how can we on earth add another 40% as a tax on green energy? I don't even have words to speak to this issue, Madam Speaker. It is a terrible thing, and I would urge the Senator to forward this to the Committee of Finance, which I'm a member of. And we are going to push this thing to wherever we can reach, even if it means going to the Treasury or any other. There is no way the nation of Kenya or the government of Kenya can add any more percentage as in form of tax on green energy, because we need to be clean in terms of health. Because when we talk of clean energy, we are talking of the women. We are talking of the suffering of the children. And we are talking of the sustainability of our forests. So we cannot be talking about these things and at the same time looking at how we can tax. It is unfortunate. We want to go to the depth of this matter, and we want to urge the government that there is no way that they are going to add any tax to green energy in this country. I support the statement, Madam Speaker.
Senator Sakaja Johnson, other.
Madam Speaker, it is quite unfortunate that on such a matter, the Senate is constrained because really it is a matter to deal with tax-raising measures. But Madam Speaker, if you look at Standing Order 224, it is possible for you, because these are very important issues, for you to, as requested by Senator Abshiro, for you to actually recommend that the Committee of Finance jointly sits with the corresponding committee in the National Assembly to look at this issue. This issue is affecting not just Senator Abshiro, the area where you've called, where you were born, your areas, but even in the urban areas. Madam Speaker, a lot of renewable energy is becoming the go-to because of the strain on, the grid that we have, Madam Speaker. There's a lot of pressure on the national grid, and urban dwellers are now focusing on alternative forms of urban energy, including the clean stoves, including solar for heating. Madam Speaker, we had the solar heating regulations on the Energy Regulations 2012 that spurred the growth of solar in this country, and that's something we're really proud of, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the last government of President Mwai Kibaki and the beginning of this government really led the growth of renewable energy in this country. And what we're seeing is a disconnect between policy and policy that is long-term with short-term measures in the finance bill. Madam Speaker, people put their money where their mouth is. And so it is easy to talk from one end of the mouth saying we're supporting renewable energy, yet you're taxing each and every component in renewable energy, and so we will see further losses. Madam Speaker, we have invested a lot of money in the Turkana wind power project, Madam Speaker, in our geothermal projects, in a lot of efforts on wind and other renewable forms, that this country is hailed across the world as being a leader in renewable energy. If this tax is not dealt with, then that will disappear. Madam Speaker, Senator Kithure Kindiki will tell you that the Constitution says that international treaties form part of our law. Kenya is a signatory to the Paris Agreement. And the Paris Agreement, Madam Speaker, pushes for reduction of carbon emissions, and we've committed to it. It pushes to accelerating global efforts towards reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and this law goes contrary to our, our commitments under the Paris Agreement. Madam Speaker, the Kenya Renewable Energy Association projects 20% increased demand as we move forward for solar and for other renewable sources, yet we're making it further out of reach. So, Madam Speaker, I will urge that, and I'm glad I heard the Leader of Majority in the National Assembly in a burst of wisdom, proposing that both houses need to relook at our standing orders to provide for co-sponsoring of legislation or even motions, such that such a motion or such a statement, before we're told it's a money bill or it's not within the purview of the Senate, Senator Abshiro would very easily be able to get someone from the other house, and they can be able to co-sponsor legislative interventions so that we do not go into the hurdles and that we normally face when we deal with very good legislation here that is curtailed by our neighbors, Madam Speaker. So I would urge that you recommend the Finance Committee to sit jointly with the Finance Committee of the National Assembly to look at this issue as a matter of urgency. I have hundreds and thousands of people of Nairobi who depend on renewable energy, especially in the low and the informal settlements, who have already been adversely affected by this tax introduction in the 2020 Finance Bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Kasanga Sylvia Mwene.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to speak on this statement of Senator Halake. And thank you so much, Senator, for bringing this up. I didn't even have this, I had not heard about it before. And thank you for your passion in conservation of the environment. Indeed, you're missed in the Lands Committee. Just the other day in a Lands Committee meeting, the Minister of Environment was crying how, as a House of Legislation, we should be trying to push for more and more legislation that can change the mindsets of Kenyans towards their agricultural practices and their normal practices when it comes to the environment, because of how far we are depleting the environment and even some of our great resources, like the salt in, how can I not remember? We are depleting our resources, generally, environment, because, yes, exactly, Magadi salt is already affected by siltation because of our practices. And to hear that our renewable energy, the gains that we have so far gained on renewable energy are likely to be reduced by imposition of taxes is really a retrogressive move. In fact, you wonder, when they sit down, whoever they are, that make these decisions, what are they thinking? At a time when a country, we have our youth already aligning into these fields of renewable energy. Already we have our universities have set up programs for our youth so that they can tap into this market that has become a global market. The whole world is going into renewable energy. Why are we taking a step back? Senator, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I support this, this statement, and indeed, Madam Senator, do make a ruling that this issue can be sorted as soon as possible. Thank you.
Senator Ali Abdullahi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to support the statement by Senator Halake. I will not talk more about what others have said, Madam Speaker. The world over, before the renewable energy was very expensive. Now, when it has come down, if we increase our VAT, then we are going back to the same place. That means that we don't want renewable energy to be the mainstay of this country, where we have the resources, we have the winds, we have the geothermal, we have the solar, the sun, but we want to go back to petroleum products, and we want to go back to fuel, which is very dangerous to the world all over. And I think we will urge the concerned authorities not to do what they are doing. And as Senator Sakaja said, we might not have the authority to go for it, but we have the mandate to fight as a Senate, and we will follow it up, and whoever is concerned should do what should be done. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Lokorio Betonila. 1 minute, please. Yes. We need to wind up that statement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will take exactly 1 minute. I'm a lady of few words. Madam Speaker, my issue is only on the fact that we are signatories as a country to the Sustainable Development Goals, which was an improvement from the Millennium Development Goals, because we thought that we needed to develop our countries or develop ourselves with the future in mind, so that we preserve the environment for our children and our grandchildren. So to put 40% tax on green energy, which is actually a step in the right direction of preserving the environment, is an insult to that signature we put internationally to the SDGs. Madam Speaker, I also want to join my colleagues to ask for your magnanimity in putting this statement to the relevant committee so that this matter can be discussed effectively. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. 1 minute, Senator Haji Faria Ali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I am, some of these things is shocking, because actually what we should be doing, we should have policies that encourage renewable energy. Madam Speaker, industrialization is part of President Uhuru's agenda for this country. But if you look at this incentives of including 14% VAT for renewable energy, Madam Speaker, is making energy more expensive. Because if you go back to the use of fossil energy, that means you are making electricity much more expensive. And if you make electricity much more expensive, then you are curtailing the development of industries in this country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the other thing is counties like Wajir, most of our boreholes rely on solar energy to bring water out of for boreholes. And Madam Speaker, if you increase if you add VAT, 14% VAT on those, Madam Speaker is telling us that we cannot get water. Already we have water scarcity in our county, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the other issue is around, this will also impact innovation, Madam Speaker, because there is a lot of youth who are innovating around renewable energy. And Madam Speaker, given that it's also creating employment, Madam Speaker, and we have a very, even with COVID being in place, Madam Speaker, unemployment has also increased, Madam Speaker. And for this to be, and it is self-defeating. The more you create industries, the more you will be able to generate revenue from the sales of those. And now if you make the input expensive, that means you are making, that means then just give me one more minute, Madam Speaker, so that I can conclude. So, Madam Speaker, the other issue is around what we should be doing as a country. We should create an incentive to incentivize people who are developing a renewable energy because of it's friendly to environment, and then how it is cheap because it is in abundance, like solar energy. God has given us that in some part of this country. So, Madam Speaker, even in my own county, like the other day I said in this house, we don't have electricity. 50 years down the line, we rely on generators that are not reliable. And like 70% of the time, Wajir is in darkness. Madam Speaker, if now we even make solar energy more expensive, then it means that we will be in more darkness, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I thank you for your indulgence.
Thank you. Finally, Senator Cherargei Samson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I agree and support Senator Alake on this statement. And the introduction of value-added tax on renewable energy is unfortunate. The alternative is encouraging that are not friendly, the use of that are not friendly to environment, mostly pollutants. Madam Speaker, across the world, the world is moving towards renewable energy. And when you look at Article 42 of the Constitution, it talks about clean and healthy environment. The only way to ensure there is clean and healthy environment as provided and envisioned by the Constitution under Article 42, Madam Speaker, is when we zero rate and ensure that we encourage Kenyans towards renewable energy. Madam Speaker, for us who grew up in the village, we grew up when the environment was being destroyed, where the mamas could get coonies, and therefore there could a lot of smoke in the kitchen. And yet we want to encourage Kenyans to move in a more renewable, energy-friendly usage, Madam Speaker. So I agree this was unfortunate, and I thought the National Assembly, in their wisdom or lack of it, should have ensured that this matter should not have been given to the President for the assent. I think as a House, we must move forward and ensure the appropriate committee moves and reverse this issue of putting VAT tax. And Madam Speaker, finally, is that we need to encourage, to ensure this renewable energy is used in even generating income for many young people, Madam Speaker. If, for example, the usage of electricity, we need to be working and ensure, for example, northern part of this Kenya, Madam Speaker, we can harness and ensure that we work towards solar energy, which is a renewable energy, and it is friendly to the environment. So, Madam Speaker, I support this statement by Senator Alake and look forward to a more conclusion that will ensure Kenyans do not have to pay VAT on such on renewable energy. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senators. Yes, I am persuaded, Senator Bishiro, to refer the statement to the committee of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. Honorable Senators, the next statements are on Order 48-1, and I'm really going to seek your indulgence because we want to read all of them today. They are 19 in number. I would like to plead that the mover, the statement giver gives the statement and we refer to the committee for those members who are present so that we offload them from our order paper because the order paper is really congested. So the first statement is by Senator Beatrice Kwamboga. An apology has been given. So we move to the second one, which is from the Senator of Kakamega, Senator Clopas Malala. Anybody given that assignment? No. Statement number 3 is from Senator Johnson Sakaja. Johnson Sakaja was right here. Stepped out. Let's move on. We will come back to him. The fourth statement is from Senator Dr. Abdullahi Ali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Sorry, I have two of them, so I'm getting confused with each other.
It is the one to labor and social welfare.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare regarding non-remittance of employee statutory deductions, non-payment of work injury benefits, and other labor-related violations by county governments. In the statement, the committee should respond to the following. 1. What policy or regulatory framework guides county governments on violations on remittances of employee statutory deductions, payment of work injury benefit, and other labor-related violations, including payments to loans, payments of loans, and to SACCO societies. 2. What measures has the government put in place to protect county employees against the above violations? 3. What is the status of Wajir vis-a-vis remittances of such deductions, particularly payee, NHIF, NSSF, and other statutory deductions? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Senator Haji Faria Ali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to congratulate my senator for Wajir for bringing in this statement. Madam Speaker, Wajir County, not only does it not remit those deductions, even the staff allowance, Madam Speaker, for going for trips and stuff like that, Madam Speaker, they are never paid. There is even allegation, Madam Speaker, that staff are told to claim their per diems so that somebody else takes that money, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we fight here among ourselves for allocation of funds to the county, yet, Madam Speaker, there is clear violation of what is meant for the people of the county, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if deductions for that year is not paid to the respective institution, Madam Speaker, I do not understand why even people like KRA do not even freeze those accounts, Madam Speaker, for the county government. Because, Madam Speaker, if not even insurance for the staff, Madam Speaker, the staff of Wajir do not have insurance, Madam Speaker. All the other time, Madam Speaker, we make contributions for medical people who are employees of the county, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, there is a lot of issues in Wajir that needs to be addressed urgently, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, I urge the institutions like EACC, DCI, to come to the rescue of the people of Wajir to ensure that the right, accountability is expected of Wajir County, Madam Speaker. Because there are certain things, Madam Speaker, like for example, the SACCO, if you don't contribute, people borrow loans and you don't contribute. How do you expect those SACCOs to survive, Madam Speaker? And some of these SACCOs die because of non-contribution, non-remittance from the county, and people have rightfully contributed to those SACCO society, Madam Speaker. That means, Madam Speaker, even the savings for the people who saved with that SACCO is at risk, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, the other day I brought statement, which I am waiting for Education Committee to respond. There is a committee of the county government that was not paid for 23 months, Madam Speaker. And even after they were not paid for those 23 months, Madam Speaker, this committee's tenure has ended, and I had requested that the county government should be stopped from recruiting further until they pay the benefits of the former committee, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, there is a lot of issues that is around Wajir in terms of accountability. And, Madam Speaker, including, Madam Speaker, people's monies are requested from controller of budget to pay certain suppliers, Madam Speaker. And those people are not paid, other people are paid, Madam Speaker. And, Madam Speaker, me sometimes I question the role of controller of budget, Madam Speaker. Because if you cannot take care of certain those malpractices, then why do you exist for approving expenditure if you can't even stop such malpractices? Madam Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Senator. I said 1 minute each, so we're going to allow 2 people. Senator Boy, Isa, and then we'll move to the next statement. 1 minute, please.
Asante sana Madam Speaker kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza namshukuru sana Senator Ali kuleta hii statement yake wakati huu ambapo sasa hii kuna matatizo mengi sana ya ufisadi ambayo yameingia ndani ya nchi yetu. Kusema la kweli la kusikitisha kuona kwamba wafanyakazi wa Wajir hawapati haki yao na pia kama allowance zao pia kulipwa ni shida. Madam Speaker, sasa hii tumefika wakati kwamba ufisadi lazima ukomeshwe katika nchi yetu hii. Na haswa huko sehemu za Wajir ni jambo la kusikitisha sana. Yani mfanyakazi hata ile pesa NSSF kulipiwa kama anavyosema Senator Ali pia hazilipiwi. Mfanyakazi pia ambaye anatoka jasho anaenda katika nyanja za chini kwa wale ambapo kuna joto na jua pia hapati haki yake. Madam Speaker, mimi statement hii naunga mkono na sheria ichukuliwe hatua kali sana kwa hii county government ya Wajir. Sheria ichukuliwe mkono na wale ambao wanafanya ufisadi huo basi wasibakishwe. Hao ni watu wabaya sana. Asante sana Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much. That statement stands committed to the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. The next statement is from Senator Mbito. He's not around. The next one, number 6, is from Senator for Mombasa, Senator Mohamed Faki Munyihaji.
Asante, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I rise pursuant to Standing Orders number 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Information and Technology regarding the state of affairs at the Postal Corporation of Kenya, PCK. In the statement, Madam Speaker, the committee should explain why the corporation has not paid staff salary for the last 6 months. Number 2, state why the employees' statutory deductions, SACCO contributions, and deductions to financial institutions have not been remitted by the said corporation. And number 3, Madam Speaker, appraise the House on the general state of affairs at PCK, indicating whether the corporation is able to meet its future financial obligations relating to staff salaries and other labor obligations. Madam Speaker, it is very painful that 6 months into the COVID pandemic, the Postal Corporation of Kenya has not paid salaries to its employees throughout the Republic. Madam Speaker, it will be noted that recently the Board of Management renewed the
employment contract of the Postmaster General. And it is sad, Madam Speaker, to state that immediately after the renewal, the employees have gone out without salaries for the last 6 months. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Gerald K. Samson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to congratulate Senator Mohamed Faki for bringing this issue. Madam Speaker, this is a clear violation of labor rights as enshrined in Article 41 of the Constitution of Kenya. It is sad that in this day and age, there are government employees in one of the parastatals that have gone for 6 months without pay. It is not only inhuman, it is tragic, it is sad. I can imagine the pain and anguish that their families undergo because their parents cannot buy food, cannot pay rent, cannot have sustainable, especially, Madam Speaker, during this COVID pandemic period. Madam Speaker, it is very sad, when you see employees, and this issue has been raised for the last 6 months, Madam Speaker, that people do not have. People can work hard, Madam Speaker. Even the Bible encourages us, for us who are Christians, to work for us to be paid. Why is the Postal Corporation of Kenya cannot be able to pay the employees? Yet they have board of management, yet they have leadership in place, they have the board that manages. Madam Speaker, it is so sad, it is painful for the employees of the Postal Corporation in this country, Madam Speaker. Even if, Madam Speaker, the Postal Corporation is not performing as expected, it is the parastatal that should be bailed out by the government of the day. It is not a private entity. Why doesn't the government bail out the Postal Corporation? Or if it cannot possible, then they should privatize. But 15 days on this issue. By next week, Tuesday, in my own request, Madam Speaker, we should have the progress report by the Labour Committee to tell us the status. And if Postal Corporation of Kenya is making losses, Madam Speaker, they need to also adapt with technology. When you go to the United States of America now, the people are using the Postal Corporation of America to mail their ballot papers to vote. Why is the Kenya Postal Corporation not adapting to the technology and the changes that are coming up, Madam Speaker? So, Madam Speaker, on this issue, unfortunately, Madam Speaker, as I conclude, the people who are trade unionists, who should be championing for the rights of these workers, are busy doing politics of the day. I wish they were busy, Madam Speaker, fighting for the rights of these employees of Postal Corporation, who should be, the union leader should be at the forefront, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is corruption, this is immoral, this is economically unjustifiable. When their children go hungry, when they cannot visit hospital because they don't have money, especially during this COVID pandemic, Madam Speaker. I think as we fight the COVID pandemic, it is unfortunate that this is a pandemic within the Postal Corporation, within this republic. So, Madam Speaker, I hope the minister in charge of ICT, the board management, the CEO of this parastatal, Madam Speaker, and the chairman of the board must come out and tell the country what is really ailing our Postal Corporation. But my appeal to President of the Republic of Kenya, kindly bail out Postal Corporation, but don't only bail out the suppliers and the pending bills. Start with the employees of this Postal Corporation of this country. And because Postal Corporation is very important, when some of us used to write love letters, it is the Postal Corporation that have created marriages in this country. Now people have moved to the SMS and the WhatsApp groups, Madam Speaker. But many families were set up through Postal Corporation because they ensure timely delivery of love letters, and many families have been born out of it. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and look forward to resolving this issue.
I can assure you the love letters are still being written, but now different via different mode of communication. Senator Boy Issa Juma.
Madam Speaker, asante sana kunipa fursa hii. Madam Speaker, haya waliosema Senator Faki na muunga mkono ni ya kweli kabisa. Mimi mwenyewe nina ndugu yangu ambaye ni mdogo wangu wa 3 afanya kazi posta. Kila nikienda, huu ni mwezi karibu wa 2, namsaidia, namsimamia, mpaka mwisho namuuliza, kani shida iko wapi? Anaambia, bro, mimi sijapata pesa paka leo. Kwa hivyo, Madam Speaker, haya maneno nasema ni ya kweli, na kama serikali kweli, kama kuna shida kama hii, serikali ni kwa haraka sana itie pesa au isimamie posta iweze kuwasaidia wafanyakazi wake. Hali ya nchi sahihi, Madam Speaker, ni ngumu sana. Kumeingia mambo ya corona. Chakula sahihi ni shida. Mimi mwenyewe pesa ambazo ninazozipata zikifika Kwale, nikifika jicho lake linaangalia ataka pesa kwangu mimi. Madam Speaker, wacha pia kusema bara mshahara. Posta yenyewe ina matatizo makubwa. Ofisi kuu ya posta kule Lungalunga, nyumba yake ina karibu kuanguka. Nimepiga kelele karibu mara 2 mara 3 kwamba posta waende warekebishe ile nyumba yao ya Lungalunga, au sivyo wafunge. Watu wanakaumwa ndani wanyeshewa na mvua. Hii ni aibu kubwa sana kwa sisi watu wa Kenya. Posta pesa inapata, ikiwa mkurugenzi mkuu wa contract yake imekuwa renew, kwa nini hawawezi kuwalipa wafanyikazi wa posta? Na chama cha wafanyikazi zinaangalia chama cha posta. Mimi nawaambia wakuu wa chama cha wafanyikazi wasimame imara, wapige kelele, wahakikishe kwamba hawa wafanyikazi wa posta wanapata pesa zao. Kwa hivyo mimi naunga mkono statement hii ya Mheshimiwa Faki, na kwa haraka sana tutaka hapa mpaka mwezi ujao tuone wafanyikazi wa posta wamelipwa. Mimi nachoka. Kakaangu mdogo wangu amefanya posta karibu miaka 10. Sasa hii mimi nikifika Kwale, jambo la kwanza unaangalia na macho, hata sina raha mimi mwenyewe. Mara na sina petroli, wewe usifanya kazi posta kila siku na kusaidia. Kwa hivyo Madam Speaker, sasa hii kamati kama itachunguza hilo jambo ifanye kwa haraka sana. Na hii bodi ya posta pia sio wakae wapate pesa allowance makubwa kizunguka kwenda Nairobi, si kwenda Takaungu, kwenda wapi. Wahakikishe kwamba wafanyakazi wao wanapata pesa. Sasa hii kuna corona, kuna shida chakula, kuna shida kulipa marenti. Watu paka nyumba wamefukuzwa, Madam Speaker. Hii inakusikitisha kwa Wakenya jamani. Madam Speaker, mimi naunga statement hii ilitolewa na Mheshimiwa Faki ishughulikiwe kwa haraka sana. Asante sana Madam Speaker.
I see no further request for contribution. I therefore refer this statement to the Committee on Information Technology and Technology. Next statement is by Senator Alice Milgo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the continued destruction by fires of the conservation area around the Savo National Park. In the statement, the committee should elucidate on the cause of the frequent fires that have destroyed the conservation area for a long time. 2, outline the measures that have been put in place to avoid further destruction of the national park by fires, as well as measures that the Kenya Wildlife Service will put in place to respond in a timely manner to mitigate against mass destruction of the conservation area by these fires. And 3, state water and wild animals died as a result of the fires, and whether there are any plans to ensure this does not happen again in future. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I will allow a few comments, and we have Senator Ali Abdullah Ibrahim.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is frightening when you see what happens, what you saw happened in Savo National Park. Every time, I think it's 2 or 3 times, that every time you see the place burning down, you see animals running up and down, you see people traveling to Mombasa cannot even pass through the road because of the fires. And what surprises us is that even if they are not tourists now, the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife has helicopters, has a lot of Kenya Wildlife Service, it has a lot of askaris, it has a lot of resources. Why should these fires be burning every day? And then the wildlife run around into the roads and even make life of other people, seriously. So, Madam Speaker, I think this is a very serious issue. Fires in dry seasons usually burn, yes, but the culprits, if it's caused by human beings, if it is because of those people who invade the national parks, whether they are pastoralists or whether they are poachers or whether they are other people who have earned it, something should be done, and I think this is something which should be stopped, and the Ministry of Wildlife should tell us really what's going on and what they do with the finances. The issue of COVID and the situation now should not be an excuse, Madam Speaker. These are very serious issues. We have to take care of our wildlife. We have to take care of the people who live there. We have the conservancies, if there are issues, they should be told what's happening. And I support the statement, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Halaki Abshiro.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support the statement by Senator Milgo on the need to find what is going on at our conservation area of the Savos. Madam Speaker, I have been advocating for community conservation. The Savo National Park is government park. It's a national park. Now, the reason why sometimes we find this disconnect is that the communities living around our national parks are not being accommodated, they are not being used efficiently, and are not benefiting from maybe the conservation area. So, Madam Speaker, I think it's about time our agencies that have the mandate for conserving our national parks came clean, used just not policing, because policing will not work, but used communities around the park to ensure that good conservation, sustainable conservation is undertaken in our national parks. Madam Speaker, it's unfathomable. It's really sad to see that fires are causing untold suffering on our animals. And sometimes people say these animals belong to KWS. The animals do not belong to KWS. The animals belong to all of us. They belong to this country. They belong to the world. They are of national and global importance, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think a good solution needs to be found. And from where I sit, wearing a conservation hat, the solution is in community conservation. The solution is ensuring that communities that live around Savo are part and parcel of the conservation of the Savo conservation area. That the communities also benefit as well from that. But I'd like to congratulate the government for recently giving some 2 billion shillings to community conservation, and that is something that we look forward to, and that it will become mainstreamed into the going forward into the budget of this country, that communities that bear the brunt of conservation, communities that host the animals, communities that are part of the landscape are also recognized and are given the compensation they need, and are actually used in the fight against the fight against poaching and fight against the bad consequences of some of the habits around our parks. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I support Senator Milgo's statement that we must get to the bottom of this and ensure that our national parks have sustainable conservation at heart, not just policing that you run in and then you run out and you forget that this is a large ecosystem that contains communities as well. I thank you. I'd like to encourage the government to continue investing in the communities around the parks to ensure that we don't see these kinds of wanton destruction of our national parks. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
As we wait for Senator Naomi Wako from the extended chamber, Senator Musuruve, a few minutes to comment on this.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support this statement by Senator Dr. Milgo. I'd like to say, Honorable Speaker, that it is really, really a serious thing that the Savo National Park can go on fire. As Kenyans, we have to see how to conserve the Savo National Park for the economic gains that we have from the parks. One of the main economic gains is tourism, because sometimes tourists come to the country just to see the wild animals that are there. So as it brings income to to the community and to the country, we have to see how to conserve the Savo National Park. And even, Honorable Speaker, there's need to really coexist with the animals. Every animate being has value addition in this universe. So we have to see how to ensure that animals are not extinct. And recently in the papers, Honorable Speaker, I just saw information on the daily newspaper where the giraffes, especially the white giraffes, are now extinct. And we have to see how to ensure that animals are not extinct because of the value addition that they have. And Honorable Speaker, we cannot also forget the fact that even when it comes to employment, our youth are able to get employment as tourist tour guides and so on. And in the event, also hotels are able to get tourists, living, booking accommodation in order to be taken around the country to see animals. So we have to conserve our wildlife, Honorable Speaker, and the government needs to look for mechanisms and ways of ensuring that both wildlife and human beings are able to coexist, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to support this statement.
Senator Naomi Wako.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to add my voice of support to this very important statement by Dr. Senator Milgo. Madam Speaker, this is something that affects almost many parts of this country, and it is unfortunate that when it happens, we lose a lot as a country. Our animals are affected, the resources around there are definitely affected, and the air is also polluted. So, Madam Speaker, I come from a place that we have a lot of national parks, and we have the wild animals that give us a lot of opportunity and bring in a lot of income. But when it happens, then it affects. And especially what happens to Tsavo National Park is a great loss to us as a nation, putting into consideration that in Australia, there is an animal, there is a certain animal, Masupo, a carnivore, that has been, got extinct because of the fire. So, Madam Speaker, I support the statement and pray that our government will put into consideration the proper plans that can protect our resources so that we don't keep on losing and also the human beings being affected. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Next statement is a statement by Senator for Isiolo, Senator Fatuma Dulo. Two statements. You can start with the one on attack by the police, and then we move. Yes, Senator Sakaja.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, just on a point of order, I acknowledge that the chair has changed its occupant. The resolution earlier today in the Senate Business Committee, which Senator Kangata and Senator Dulo can confirm, was that because of the sheer number of these statements, that they're just they're read in terms of title and tabled and referred to the committees, so that we can go on to further business. Madam Speaker, that was the resolution. Senator Kangata can confirm. If you could effect that, then we could be able to go to some of the bills we've been waiting for, as well that are on the order paper, Madam Speaker. Maybe that can be confirmed to you by the clerks at the table.
Yes, Senator Kangata.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I confirm that is the position, and in particular, there is a bill that we really want to move, the Sectional Properties Bill 2019.
Yes, I am aware that that is a position, but I noticed that at least for each statement we've been allowing 2 or so very short comments, so we will reach even that bill on sectional property. So we'll time ourselves accordingly. So Senator Fatuma Dulo, I'll ask you to do your 2 statements so that then we have quick comments.
Okay, I think, Madam Speaker, that was the decision of the House Business Committee, but the chair vacated that position when he was on the chair, and I think that changed everything. But nevertheless, let me just quickly read my statements. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the assault of Isiolo resident county by police officers at a place called Barambate Police Post, Isiolo County. In the statement, the committee should urgently investigate and establish the police officers who assaulted and seriously injured Mr. Mohammed Ulufo at Barambate Police Post, as well as all persons complicit in the incident. Number 2, explain what action has been taken by the National Police Service to address cases of police brutality at the said police post following the assault of Mr. Ulufo. Number 3, state why Mr. Ulufo was denied his right to emergency medical attention despite sustaining severe injuries following the police brutality meted on him. And finally, state when Mr. Ulufo and other victims of police brutality in Isiolo County will be compensated. The second one is, Madam Speaker, I rise on Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources concerning human-wildlife conflict in Isiolo County. In the statement, the committee should explain the circumstances surrounding around which a lion raided a village in Kina Town, Isiolo County, attacking and killing livestock and serious injury to Mr. Galgalo Ali. Number 2, provide an up-to-date report on responses measures by the Kenya Wildlife Service to wildlife attacks in Isiolo County. Number 3, stipulate measures put in place to prevent future cases of human-wildlife conflict in the area. And finally, state when Mr. Galgalo and other victims of human-wildlife conflict will be compensated. I thank you.
I will allow very short comments from just 2, Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to support Senator Dulo on the issue of assault by the police. I think police brutality is becoming a norm in this country. If you don't die by the bullet of an armed robber, you are likely to die by the stray bullet or extra trigger happy of police officers, Madam Speaker. I think, for example, in the last few months, Nandi also bear the biggest brand when the police allegedly killed around 3 people in Lesos area. The other day we saw in Kericho. I think when I was the chair legal, we tried with former Vice Chair of National Security, Senator Sakaja, to try to address this issue of enforced disappearance and extrajudicial killings. I think there is a big problem that we are facing as a country. I wish IG Hilary Mutyambai would have been more faster, the way he has been faster today to condemn leaders who have been making utterances in public rallies. If we had the police that is more proactive and police that is friendly, Madam Speaker will be able, and I hope that that issue of Isiolo County will be resolved. Finally, Madam Speaker, I want to call upon the Independent Policing Oversight Authority that they need to stand firm. They need to investigate. These officers that are assaulting ordinary Kenyans must be brought to book. They are not police officers. I know of many good police officers across this country, Madam Speaker. These are criminal elements within the police service, and they are giving police service a bad name that we go to police force. Yes, the Constitution, which is progressive, has created a police service, and it says utumishi kwa wote. Madam Speaker, I support, and I hope the Committee on Security, which you are a member, Madam Speaker, will be able to resolve this issue. I hope when we appear before your committee, you will, this time around, kindly be magnanimous with us when we'll be asking hard questions. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I now proceed to refer the statements to the relevant committees. I start with a statement by Senator Milgo, which I had not referred to go to the Committee on Lands, Environment and Natural Resources, and refer the Senator Dulo's statement on attack by police to the Committee of National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, and the second statement by Senator Dulo also referred to the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources. Next statement is by Senator of Lamu. I see you have 2 statements, so I would be asking you to do the 2 at the same time, one after the other.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I'll go straight ahead to the first statement, considering I have two statements. Statement number one, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads and Transportation concerning the status of dock work job opportunities at the Lamu port for the youth in Lamu County. In the statement, the committee should state the status of interviews conducted by the Kenya Ports Authority for Lamu youths for job advertised by the said authority on 6th November 2019 and whose interviews were carried out in December 2019. That's a lifespan of more than 8 months. Secondly, explain the reason for lack of communication to the applicants for more than 8 months later by the Kenya Ports Authority, particularly those who were successfully following the interviews and whether there are any intentions to do so. Thirdly, state plans, if any, by the ministry to absorb various youths from Lamu to work in the said port, both as manual laborers and as professionals, according to their qualification. And lastly, outline the government position in relation to the continued construction of the port, putting into consideration the fact that there has been a reduction in the financial year 2020-2021 budgetary allocation that was meant to fast-track the construction of the port. On the second statement, Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations concerning the killings of chiefs, police officers and community volunteers in Lamu East constituency, Lamu County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, explain steps the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government has taken, if any, to bring to book the killers of chiefs, police officers, and community volunteers, as well as enhance security in Lamu County. Secondly, explain what measures the ministry is putting in place to ensure that the committee embraces community policing, to ensure that locals relay any information that would help avert such killings. And lastly, outline measures, if any, that the ministry has put in place to ensure that families have lost their breadwinners, such as brutal killings, are safe, justice is served, and that they are fully compensated. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very short comments, please, because we are short in terms of time and we still have some work. So I'll allow Senator Musuruve just very short comments on either of the statements.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity to support this statement from Senator Anwar. And I want to say that Senator Anwar has brought an issue on the floor of this House that is really, really important. I remember at one point the local content bill was brought to the floor of this House, and the proposition of the local content bill was that the locals should also have a percentage with regard to the industries that are there in the various counties. So I want to say, Honorable Speaker, indeed, when it comes to dock work job opportunities, they should actually benefit the people of Lamu County, and especially when it comes to issues of the youth. You'll find that many youths are idle, they do not know what to do, they lack jobs, but there's need for county governments to ensure, and it should not be an issue of Lamu County only. In all the counties, there's need for county governments to ensure that any opportunity that comes on board in the counties, they give opportunity also to the use of those counties. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that even when counties are giving opportunities to youth, let them also know that we have youths with disabilities who also need to be given an opportunity to work. So I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that this is a very valid statement that should not be taken lightly at all, Honorable Speaker, and I believe that the relevant committee will work with speed and ensure that the prayers of Senator Lamu are actually considered. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Senator Sakaja, 2 minutes, please.
2 minutes are many. Madam Speaker, Senator of Lamu knows I feel very strongly about the issues he's raised with respect to the people of Lamu. I've been there since, of course, previously I've been there, but officially when we had the problems in Peketoni. And that time I was chairing a committee of the National Assembly, a joint committee, National Assembly and the Senate, on national cohesion and equal opportunities. And we could see the pain and the real underlying problems that had been taking place in that area. We've subsequently gone there on other committees. Madam Speaker, the people of Lamu are extremely accommodative, loving. The young people there are hardworking, but they lack opportunities. And Madam Speaker, that is why, for a long time, they have become fodder for all of this, recruitment by terrorist groups. I've been there as security chair, or rather vice chair. I've been there in other capacities. But the issue of radicalization comes about when young people who have education, who have energy, see opportunities passing them by and seeing other people coming and deserving and taking advantage of what is rightfully theirs, Madam Speaker. And that's why I would ask that weight be put on this. From the time of LAPSET promising, things to the young people in Lamu, job opportunities, scholarships, which sometimes come, sometimes they don't come, the issues of the port, the issues of the tourist facilities there, Madam Speaker. I think Senator Anwar, and I'm very happy that you became the Senator of Lamu, because before you were Senator of Lamu, you were one of my coordinators when I was chair of TNA. You did an excellent job. And even before that, we still work together. The people of Lamu have a voice in you. You are the one who will go down on record because
Your
you
2
removed...
minutes are over.
Let me finish that statement. Senator Anwar...
You said you're going to use less.
Yeah, I just got inspired because of my love for Lamu. He removed a politician who had been in the seat in Lamu from 1992 to 2013 because of the faith of those young people, but also because they are tired. If you do not speak on these issues, they will be tired again. So keep talking about them and let's see action, and I'm ready to support. Thank you.
Senator Halake, you're normally very fast. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, actually, I'm very fast, but I may speak a little bit on the, if you allow me just to say something about the police brutality. I had my mic on, but for some reason, I got past. But let me start with congratulating my brother, Senator Anwar, for this excellent statement that really is going to go a long way if followed properly, provide opportunities, and also ask questions around why locals are always bypassed. And again, it's not just locals. Certain counties have a way of being neglected, especially Lamu, Isiolo. Smaller counties seem to not be taken seriously when it comes to youth opportunities, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm happy that the Senator of Lamu is a youth and he's standing up for the rights of the youth because he knows very well what it means to be, because him sitting here is giving him such an opportunity to ensure that all his cohorts and the youth in Lamu are given opportunities. Madam Speaker, we are from the coast with the COVID committee. The drug issues, the issues around unemployment, the issues around just people, a whole ferry load of people going to pick bread. This is unacceptable indeed in this day and age when our constitution is very clear, but also when we've been self-governing for the last almost 60 years. Madam Speaker, allow me just to say one thing also about the Senator Dulo's statement on police brutality. Again, coming from the COVID committee, we saw firsthand at the coast, but the issues in Isiolo which have been brought, it's not the first time that the Senator has brought these issues. Madam Speaker, just allow me to congratulate the Isiolo human rights defenders. These youth who have brought themselves together and called themselves the Isiolo human rights defenders have been highlighting these issues to all of us, to the country, and have been very active on this issue. Every single day they highlight to us 2-3 people that have been clobbered by police or by other agencies that are supposed to be looking after the... So I would like to say that we will hold the IPOA, the Independent Police and Oversight Authority, to ensure that justice is served to the people of Isiolo and to the people of this country. I support both the statements and look forward to working on these issues with the two senators. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, the statements by Senator for Lamu are referred to the first statement on dock workers is referred to the Committee on Roads and Transport. Then the second statement on The second statement on killings of chiefs, police officers, and community volunteers is referred to the Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations. Next statement is by Senator of Wajir, Dr. Abdullahi Ali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Somebody's harassing me here. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Ad Hoc Committee on COVID-19 situation in Kenya on the status of preparedness for COVID-19 by Wajir County Government. In the statement, the committee should address the following. One, state the status of availability of oxygen cylinders, oxygen flow meters, and functional concentrators at Wajir County Referral Hospital, and whether the ministry is aware that Abdi Yusuf, a resident of Wajir County and a veteran public health officer of over 30 years experience, died on 24th July 2020 at Wajir County Referral Hospital, COVID-19 isolation ward, allegedly after failing to get medical emergency that requires supplemental oxygen despite the millions of shillings allocated to the county. The gentleman died while he was asking for oxygen, Madam Speaker. Number two, explain the capacity of Wajir Regional Referral Laboratory to conclusively conduct COVID-19 tests. Number three, provide a list of all the staff deployed or employed in Wajir County Hospital and their academic qualifications, stating the number of competent ICU nurses, doctors, anesthetists capable of performing intubation, as well as the number of intensive care unit ICU beds. 4, state the amount the county was allocated from the national budget for COVID-19 preparedness and whether the COVID-19 isolation center at Wajir Referral Hospital is properly branded and whether there are dedicated ambulances ready to handle patients with COVID-19 and related emergency. Madam Speaker, I'm asking all this because when this gentleman died, people in Wajir were up in arms. He died because of lack of oxygen. He was there by the time he was to be referred. He died, unfortunately. Many other members of staff have contracted the disease, and up to now, the problems are still there. So, Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Since this touches on this very serious pandemic, and looking at the time, and we still have to sort out very urgent issues, I'll only allow one comment from the chair of the COVID-19 situation, that is Senator Sylvia Kasanga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank...
I can see an intervention by Senator Farhia. Kindly, urgently, because we are running short of time.
Madam Speaker, I was requesting if you could just allow me like 2 minutes because I come from the same county as the senator and I have something to add.
I will ask Senator Kasanga, since she's really conversant with what is happening, to be very short so that I give you 1 minute. But we are strained because of time.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm actually happy to let my time go to Senator Farhia so that she can add on to it. But just to thank Senator of Wajir because he had actually called me about this situation, and I'm happy now the statement has been laid on the table of Senate, so we shall pick it up, and I guarantee you we shall look into it as we did for Isiolo and all the other counties that we are able to look into. Thank you.
Senator Faria, 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, given that Wajir County is bordering Somalia, where there is a bit of intertrade and people, and because of pastoralist nature of our county, people move from Somalia and back in search of pasture. Madam Speaker, it would be good that the cases of COVID will continue rising, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, as a matter of urgency, I'm requesting that the COVID committee visits Wajir so that they can assess the real situation of the COVID. Because, Madam Speaker, even when that medical officer died, Madam Speaker, even contact tracing was not done. The other day, somebody else also, who was also a county staff, also died in a hospital here in Nairobi. And also because of lack of insurance, Madam Speaker, by the county government, some of us were called on to contribute even to his medical bill, Madam Speaker. So the situation is dire, Madam Speaker, and Kenyans deserve better from us. So, Madam Speaker, I am really pleading with the COVID committee to urgently visit Wajir so that they can establish what is the issue there, Madam Speaker. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, the statement is referred to the ad hoc committee on the COVID situation, and you have heard the chair that she's going to look into it. So we move to the next statement. Senator Cheriot is not here. So that statement is deferred. Senator Kwamboka, Senator Falhada Iman, Senator Moses Kajwang are also not there, and those statements are therefore also deferred. So we move to Senator Petronila Lokorio.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to request for a statement on the frustration faced by retirees or their beneficiaries at the Pensions Department. Mr. Speaker, sir, Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare regarding the frustration faced by retired public servants or their beneficiaries in claiming benefits at the Pensions Department. In the statement, the committee should, 1, state if there is a service charter at the Pensions Department in the National Treasury stipulating the timelines within which a retired public servant or their beneficiaries should receive retirement or death benefits, and if so, indicate the level of compliance with that service charter. Secondly, the committee should explain whether the government is aware of the frustration experienced by retired public servants and or their beneficiaries in accessing retirement or death benefits, and state the measures being put in place, if any, to address the problem. Thirdly, Madam Speaker, the committee should state the measures, if any, that the Ministry of Finance and National Treasury has put in place to ensure that services are decentralized in order to make them easily accessible to pensioners and or beneficiaries. And finally, Madam Speaker, that the committee clarifies whether the Pensions Department undertakes any monitoring and evaluation exercises to ensure efficient service delivery, and if so, state whether the findings or results of such surveys are ever publicized. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I will only allow one senator to make comments. Senator Farhia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you know, as we all work hard at our different respective places of employment, we expect that when we retire, we have a decent life, Madam Speaker. First of all, let me state that I support the statement by Senator Lokorio and thank her for bringing this matter to the Senate. So, Madam Speaker, when those people retire, they expect that at least they get their money, regularly, because now they are aged, and that is the time they need that money. Madam Speaker, whoever is the trustee, and then the other thing is that pension money, when people's pension is deducted, that money usually is used for other investments so that it generates income. And it's also a source of financing for either businesses or for government to get financing because of that pool of resources from different people. Madam Speaker, and when these people either retire, now they are aged and vulnerable, they cannot access that money, Madam Speaker, is pathetic, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, this House should put to task people who are supposed to take care of the retirement benefits for those people, to ensure that they are called upon to ensure that monies are given to those people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Madam Madam Speaker, the other issue is around also people whose their livelihood provider passed on, and then there are orphans and widows who are left behind.
Your time is up.
Okay.
Kindly conclude.
Okay, thank you. And because they have relied on that person for income, and now the person is gone and they don't get their benefits, then they are left without school, without housing, without everything else, and in terms of the lifestyle that they got used to. Madam Speaker, this is an urgent matter, and Madam Speaker, we need the committee that is allocated need to fast track that issue so that people, there is restoration of of benefits to those people. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, this statement is referred to the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. We move to the next statement, which is by Senator Samson Cherargei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this indulgence. Request for statement on reduction of tea prices by tea companies in Nandi County. Madam Speaker, I raise pursuant to Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries concerning reduction of tea prices by tea companies in Nandi County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, explain why Kipchabo Tea Factory in Nandi County has breached its tea pricing contract with farmers and reduced the price of tea from 30 shillings per kilo to 19 shillings per kilo. 2nd, state and provide the current prices being paid to farmers by all tea companies in Nandi County for tea producing supplied by farmers. 3rd, state why the management of Kipchabo Tea Factory has not refunded farmers money deducted towards the supply of fertilizers as the company had earlier agreed with the farmers. 4th, state why Kipchabo Tea Company has continued to deduct sales fee from farmers despite the company having not financed and or participated any corporate social responsibility activities in Nandi County. 5th, provide information on the corporate social responsibility activities that the tea companies in Nandi County have engaged in targeting residents of the host county. 6th, state how much is collected from farmers by tea companies in Nandi County as a sales fee. And finally, Madam Speaker, explain why the company made farmers to sign a contract whose contents they were not made aware of and in a language that they cannot best understand. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, I will not allow any more comments on these statements so that we are able to catch up with the rest of the business. This statement is therefore referred to the Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. Next is Senator Abshiro Halake's statement. Very brief, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights regarding derogatory reference of mentally challenged victims of sexual violence in the Penal Code. Madam Speaker, the sexual violence bit is not even the most important, but the derogatory terms used to describe our mentally challenged citizens is really
Senator Sakaja, you have an intervention?
Sorry, my friend Senator Abshiro, just very quickly. Madam Speaker, I earlier had a statement that was deferred, but I'd like on the record to withdraw it, just for the record and for the clerks at the table, so that it's not brought back next week because of time. Thank you.
So it shall be marked as withdrawn. So let's move forward.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights regarding derogatory reference of mentally challenged victims of sexual violence in the Penal Code. Madam Speaker, as I was saying, the issue of the sexual violence notwithstanding, generally the derogatory terms referred to or the language used on our mentally challenged individuals is really a point of concern. In the statement, the committee should provide justification, if any, for the continued use of the terms idiots. Madam Speaker, in our Penal Code, mentally challenged individuals are referred to as idiots and imbeciles, Madam Speaker. in Section 146 of the Penal Code to refer to mentally challenged victims and mentally challenged. And the reason I'm using the sexual abuse bit is because I came into this while following up on sexual abuse of mentally challenged girls, and then realized as I was reading the Penal Code, they're referred to as imbeciles and idiots, Madam Speaker, and explain why the statute has not been amended in line with Article 27(4) of the Constitution of Kenya, which prohibits direct or indirect discrimination against any person on any ground, and especially when using those words, and state the steps, if any, that have been taken to amend Section 146 of the Penal Code to replace the offensive terminology. Madam Speaker, I am actually sponsoring amendments to ensure that those kinds of derogatory and acceptable terms to call people idiots and imbeciles are not there. But I thought I should bring it to this House and make sure that the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee looks at this and also gives it the highlight that it requires. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I move.
This statement is referred to the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, and I now invoke the standing orders to defer the business in the statements pursuant to Standing Order 51(1)A, and the ones that are pursuant to Standing Order 51(1)B, and we therefore move to statement pursuant to Standing Order 52 leader or majority.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order 52(1), I hereby present to the Senate the business of the House for Tuesday, 15 September 2020. Before I proceed, let me take this opportunity to welcome senators back to the fourth part of the fourth session. Madam Speaker, on Tuesday, 15 September 2020, the Senate Business Committee will meet to schedule the business of the Senate. On that day, 15 September 2020, the Senate will consider bills scheduled for second reading and those at the Committee of the Whole stages. The Senate will also continue with consideration of business that will not be concluded in today's order paper, including motions, petitions, and statements. Madam Speaker, a total of 20 bills are due for second reading stage, and another 17 bills are at the Committee of the Whole. The Senate Business Committee will prioritize these bills accordingly, starting with the following that have been scheduled for Tuesday, 15 September 2020. Madam Speaker, number one, the prompt payment bills, Senate Bill number 3 of 2020. Number 2, the Community Health Services Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2020. 3, Equalization Fund Bill, National Assembly Bills number 43 of 2019. Number 4, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 63 of 2019. 5, the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood Bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2019. 6, the Election Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 18 of 2019. 7, the Kenya Sign Language Bill, Senate Bills number 15 of 2019. 8, consideration of the National Assembly amendments to the County Outdoor Advertising Control Bill, Senate Bills number 19 of 2018. 9, the Wildlife Conservation Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 24 of 2019. 10, the Law of Succession Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2020. 11, the County Resource Development Bill, Senate Bills number 2 of 2020. 13, the Sectional Properties Bill, National Assembly Bills number 23 of 2019. 13, the Livestock and Livestock Products Marketing Board Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2019. 14, the Representation of Special Interest Groups Law Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 52 of 2019. 15, the Investment Promotion Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2020. And finally, the Mang Beans Bill, Senate Bills number 9 of 2020. Individual senators who may have amendments to to these and other bills are encouraged to file the same in good time. Allow me to also urgently urge representative movers of bills, standing committees, and respective senators that have already filed amendments to be in the House whenever the bills are scheduled. This will facilitate speedy consideration and smooth transition from one stage to the next. Madam Speaker, critical business still remains relating to financial matters, namely the third basis of revenue allocation among the county governments and the county allocation of revenue bill. I continue to urge colleagues senators that as we continue to deliberate on this matter, we need to proceed with patience, understanding, and objectivity, as the matter is undoubtedly weighty and emotive, so that we can arrive at a logical conclusion. Madam Speaker, I thank you and hereby lay the statement on the table of the House. I thank you.
Honorable Senators, looking at the time, I now wish to rearrange the order paper so that we move directly to order number 24. Senate Majority Leader. Senator Kangata.
Order number 24, the Sectional Properties Bill, National Assembly Bills number 23 of 2019, second reading.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I beg to move the National Assembly Bill, Bill number 23 of 2019, the Sectional Properties Bill of 2019. Madam Speaker, this bill is important and for several reasons. Madam Speaker, let me first thank the Deputy Majority Leader for yielding that I move this bill. Yes, Madam Speaker, this bill is trying to establish a legal framework for ownership of property in a vertical manner. Madam Speaker, Kenyans, vast majority of Kenyans own property in a vertical manner. But with the rate of urbanization, we may need now to start encouraging our people to understand what we call strata ownership of property, vertical ownership of property. Madam Speaker, the rate of urbanization in this country is 4.23% every year between the year 2015 and 2020. Madam Speaker, the urban population currently is about 30% of the entire population of Kenya. And we had a law that it was called Sectional Properties Act of 1987, which this bill is intending to replace. Madam Speaker, with that kind of huge rate of urbanization, we foresee as a government that more and more people will come to urban areas. They will need to own property, but it will be small units, and those units will be inside a certain building. And therefore, this bill, its essence, the effect of this bill is to provide
Honorable Senators, it is now 6:30 p.m., time to interrupt the business of the Senate. The House therefore stands adjourned until Tuesday, 15th September 2020 at 2:30 p.m.